Welcome to the Squad Games Podcast. Squad Games Podcast.
Welcome to the Squad Games Podcast. This is episode 111, and that is 111. There's a lot of ones in that one in case of those AdMech players. What's our cold opener? Oh, yeah. What's worse than cheating at the WTC? My answer was cold hot dogs.
I don't know. Like eating lukewarm pizza. It's not even cold pizza. It's kind of like been sitting there.
And pizza has to be bad, right?
Yeah, and it's just kind of like,
How about you? How about you, John Reese? Can you roll a crit?
I think the only thing that could be worse than cheating would be getting DQ'd from a very notable event, or breaking your NDA in a very noticeable way, in a very clear way, so it's very clearly identifiable that you broke your NDA. But that's just me speculating.
Yeah, that could be pretty bad. How about you, James?
Easy, playing Pathfinders.
whoa,
Oh,
that's a classic.
I mean,
classic.
you're not wrong. Sorry, John.
No. Here's the thing. The Pathfinder players got very upset when I made my guide because I dedicate like 10 to 15 minutes explaining why I don't want to teach people how to play Pathfinders because I believe it's so toxic. And
Yep.
they were like, but I'm trying to learn. I was like, yeah, you have to accept you're playing a horrible team. No one will like you.
That is fair.
They do got that stigma.
They do. So today we are going to be talking all about competitive painting and mostly focusing on display boards. The difference between display boards, single models, dioramas, stuff like that. There's a lot of people on our Discord who have submitted a bunch of display boards for us to look at. And we're going to look at them as judges and as creators. James got second in year one for Hobby Track, third last year. John Reese, you're an amazing competitor. You're over here, won quite a few painting awards at LVO this year, which was the biggest event of Kill Team in the world. Still,
In the world, yes.
has not been broken.
Nope.
And that is something that we both run. So if you guys want to come and see us, possibly we'll have a live Hobby Highlander there.
Yep.
Friday night. It should be a lot of fun. So LVO is a great time. But before we get to LVO, before we get to the other dioramas and stuff, I wanted to talk about the All Valley Team Tournament. The All Valley Team Tournament, we're giving away 3 golden tickets.
That's 3.
That is 3. And you can get tickets here if this transfers on Lester'sWorkshop.com. If it's not Lester'sWorkshop.com, that means I've finally updated the website to be squadgames.net. That will happen eventually, but not just quite yet.
Don't worry, the link will be in the description of the podcast, so you can click that as well. And
sure
the YouTube one. Yeah, there you go.
So we have 3 players. It's a 1v1v1. You're not allowed to bring the same team. And like I said, we're giving out 3 golden tickets. And it is the largest and has been the largest Kill Team event in the world. But I do think that WTC just broke that record. I think they got 70 players. But we have space for 102. So
Let's make
here
history.
at Squad Games,
Yeah.
we don't like to come in second, right? No. So if you guys want to come to California, sunny California, and come and play in our gold rush of a tournament,
Hell yeah.
come on down. It's going to be a blast.
Yes.
We also have the Forged Brush Painting Awards happening there. That is something that I think Emmanuel got first place last year. This was his Orcs that got first place. See if we can just get us out of there.
Go.
So this was his first place team, and he did really, really well. He had this was his overall display board. It had music. It had lights. His prize was an anvil, because what would you expect from a forge?
Of course.
Yeah, you can paint on it. And this was a video of his team. We're on YouTube, so you can see it.
If you're not, though, we're going to have it in our Discord. You
Yep.
can also check it out there. That's a Squad Games Discord.
Yeah. So pretty cool stuff. But the Forged Brush has a bunch of different categories. We have a bunch of great additions this year, and we have quite a lot of people coming. So we're excited to share that with everyone, and we're excited to get this show underway. Yeah. Last thing, we are doing, typically these I only sell at events. We are selling faction tokens.
Yes.
So let's see if we can get back to this.
We'll get a bigger version for you in a second. There you go.
Oh, that is not.
We will get there.
Okay.
There it is.
There it is. So we have a bunch of faction tokens that we have for different teams. If you guys are looking to pick up any of those, they will be on the same website under the shop. Pathfinders do come with marker lights, and these are magnetic. So you can stack them up on your opponents, because nothing better than stacking marker lights on opponents.
Dang.
Unless if you're James Robinson, who hates them.
Nobody likes them.
I like them.
So we have a lot of cool stuff here, and we are looking forward to, essentially what we're going to be doing. The profits from that is going to help me get to Nova. So
fly this man to Nova.
Yeah, fly me to Nova. Only with your guys' help, So, and who knows? Maybe if we sell them all, I'll convince this guy to come too. I'll pay for his flight.
There you go.
Yeah,
fly to the moon.
He's our pilot.
So,
and I didn't learn how to fly.
So talking about dioramas, what is the most important thing, James, when you are building a diorama? What is the most important thing for you? Because I have certain things that I look at when I'm a judge, things that when I'm building. I'm sure Giacomo has something different. I'm sure, John, you have something as well. James, what is your most important thing?
So mine's kind of weird. When I make a display board, I want it to be actually useful for playing a game on too. Like I play Necromunda a lot, so all my tiles actually fit together to make giant boards that are basically dynamic. So I'll make it a board. It's like, all right, I don't just sit on a shelf and gather dust once I'm done. It takes a lot of space, and it just sits there for the rest of the time. Instead, I make boards that you can use for cool display pieces. It can be used for terrain, and still gives you things like, for a game vantage points and stuff. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of unique.
Okay,
also,
that's fair.
It takes away from things like, oh, I don't want to have this big open space in our front, so I'm going to have this little door now. Which you'll probably see later.
Also, an interesting thing that I know some people do consider is when traveling, right? So some people are like, this has to fit in a carry-on, or this has to fit here or there. So sometimes that's a really big factor. John, what is your most important thing? Because you made an amazing display board. And in fact, you have a video on your channel. Hold on, I did this on purpose. On your YouTube channel, which is pretty cool. Can you roll a crit? You make amazing content there.
Oh shit, we can move our heads now.
Yeah, and then it's this one, kit bashing my own Gellerpox infected kill team. Great video, by the way.
Thanks.
But like, what is the most important thing for you?
So for me, it has to tie into the kill team either by a theme or telling some sort of a story. Because sometimes a display board, it looks really cool, but it doesn't make sense why the team is there. Sometimes, people have designed a spaceship or hangar, but then the team that is it doesn't make sense why it's there. So it needs to gel with the theme of the team or a story they're trying to tell. But then also it shouldn't also be too over the top. Because there's some display boards that just have smoke and LEDs, but then it doesn't make sense why they're doing it.
Talking about mine.
No. You won't make sense. No, I've seen
you do.
There was someone had designed a church, and I was like, okay, but then the church had LEDs in the windows, and then there was just smoke outside. So I guess it was trying to represent the smoke outside, but it was just kind of really jarring. And sometimes the display board looks better than the team, which is really weird. Mm-hmm. So
I get that. That's like a diorama thing. You really want everything to mesh well together because it's like a diorama rather than a display board. Typically, the definition of a display board is you are displaying your team. You're displaying your army.
Yes.
You are displaying something, right? And your board is to help facilitate that rather than rather than like hinder the process of that. Because there's been a lot of times like at LVO when we were looking at teams and they were either difficult to see or they were hidden behind something. Like there's a few examples of that, which we'll look at today. But like the main important thing is that we want to be able to see the team so that we can judge the team. We want
getting
that,
the points.
Yeah, we want that to accentuate it. G, what's the most important thing for you?
So similar to what John Reese just said, like there is an overall feeling of why are they there, right? What's the reason? Because, then what's the difference of just taking a piece of wood and putting it on there and calling it a display board, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and it's a little extra effort. It's part of what makes the team doing the thing. It's a whole immersion thing, right? Like you're looking at it and you're like, damn, that looks cool, right?
Yeah.
I think that's really important, is to help it stand out. And if you don't want to necessarily do a story, like at least keep it cohesive. So, I think you had said it earlier, curtains match the drapes.
Yeah.
What did you say? The curtains match the carpet?
So my favorite thing about about display boards is that you need to have the curtains match the drapes. But it's supposed to be the curtain match the carpet, right? I think that's the actual saying. For me, your bases have to match your display board. And if they don't match your display board, I think that's just like a huge oversight. There are a couple things that we'll see here today as well that I just think like the display boards can get so many things detracted away from them when the bases just don't match. Mm-hmm. And that's like something super simple to overlook, but it's actually so important because it just takes the immersion out of the display board. So that's like the first thing I look at. I was like, do the bases match? Cool. Yes, we're good. No. Okay. Minus points.
It gets its checkbox in is everything cohesive as the team? Yeah. There you go.
So interesting thing, display boards really originated in 40K.
Yeah. That's a big one. I used to make them for that.
And they used to come out and be like, people would bring an entire table, right? Entire table. And
it's so much.
Frontline Gaming had to actually start cutting back and saying like, this is the amount of space that you're allowed to bring for a display board, because people would just bring a whole table. Right. The table was dope, but it's called a display table, which we have a couple of those as well, right? They just bring something that's too big. And if you bring something that's too big, it can overall, like you said, John, take away from the viewing experience, right? So our first slide is actually going to be a good friend of ours, Lucas. He got second. He was featured in Warhammer Community, and he, I think, got third and fourth at 2 years in a row with the same display board at LVO. Really amazing paint job. And it's something that's really interesting because like Kill Team is still really new and people are still figuring out the art process. They're still figuring out some of the best display boards that we see are people who have come from 40K and are coming to Kill Team. Right. Because they understand how the composition of that you want to show off your models, right?
Yes.
So when we go here,
let's look at this one.
This is Lucas's display board. Let's see if we can. That is not what I want.
There it is.
Okay, that's going to happen. Cool. That's going to happen the whole podcast. So as you can see, this is amazing, right? From one side, he paints red, and from the other side, he paints blue. All of his models are that way. Every single one. And in fact, if you look at his display board from behind, everything's blue. Mm-hmm. Right? It's miraculous, right? I think blue is a little bit more of like a top down from the back, and red is much more of like a linear progression light from the front.
The light coming from the side of the chaos is how he designed it.
Correct. And ultimately, this display board is so fantastic because you want to look at it from every angle. You want to see it from behind because it looks completely different.
Yep.
You want to see it from each direction because it looks completely different. You want to look at each model because each model was painted in a certain way to be facing a specific direction, right? Absolutely outstanding job. And a lot of the times we are trying to grasp this in Kill Team, right? So this is a lot of things that we are trying
And this is also a rare example of seeing something at this scale be kind of taken out of like, all right, let's say you're looking at a big old picture, right? This is a small scale of that, but using the size of a Warhammer army, right? Because it's a little harder to like really want to focus on one thing, which I think is where Kill Team gets an advantage of that. You can take a pinpoint of the team playing somewhere, and you can make 6 to 12 models work, right? This is a whole army, and he's making it work, right? Like the story is there. Like, okay, I get it. He's fighting chaos. This is the whole. This looks like a Last Stand or something, right? It feels good.
What's interesting is that he was able to produce a story when typically you don't see, like, a lot of Kill Team things are just like, or display boards are just like models on a cool display. And it's like, cool, that earns you a lot of points. But can you tell a story? Can you tell a story with what you have? And that is the next level. That is like the pinnacle of what we are.
You remember that.
Yeah. That's something that's memorable, right? Because you could just see something like, there's this one guy at LVO who had a really cool display board, and he had like floating crystals. He had this piece of AI art in the back, like kind of like, and it was a great picture opportunity. It had music. I don't remember his name, but he did a great job. And it was cool because while his models weren't as stunning as everyone else's, he told a story, so he could get more points because we could understand where his team was. You know, very artsy fartsy bullshit.
Congrats.
We like artsy fartsy bullshit, right? Do you guys like artsy fartsy bullshit?
Yeah, as long as it's like pulled off in a way that makes sense.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, don't overdo it.
So they're part of the hobby. You have your basically your gaming, and you have the hobby side, so they all come together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So there's a gentleman out there named Zach DW on Discord.
Mm-hmm.
If you see him at an event and you have a really nicely painted team, even if you don't, he'll take pictures of it and he'll put it on his website called disregardingdice.com. He did take a bunch of pictures of my display board, which we will look at in depth here as well. All of these are in alphabetical order. All the display boards that we're going to be looking at today. So expect that. But a lot of pictures were pulled from his website today because he took such a good. It's like sometimes when you look at a photo, it takes away from stuff because the photo is just bad.
Right. You're not taking the photo to be like, it's a quick capture and then you leave. He's putting in the time to set it up and get it right.
Yeah. And a lot of these will have the same kind of
he has a
artistic
style. He has a style of taking pictures.
Yeah. And so like we'll be able to look at a lot of different things that are of the same style and they're taken professionally. So they look really nice. He also has some guides on his website. So if you guys want to go there and look at him, it's going to be that'd be nice. You know, big shout out from Squad Games.
Yes.
So, okay. First things first, we have this from ABC Sean. He actually has 3 entries that he submitted on Discord. This is my favorite of his display boards.
Oh yeah, easily.
I'm a big fan, even though I hate Tau. I do really, really, really enjoy this display board. I really like the modulation. Something interesting he does, he takes like these clear shoe boxes, right? And he makes the base out of that, and then there's like this clear thing that goes over the top. So it's like more easily transportable. It's really nice. Yeah.
And I imagine it's magnetized, so it holds all the things in place.
The cool thing about this team, curtains match the carpet, right?
Yep.
So that's
everything
good.
feels like it fits in the board.
There's nice trees in it. This is something that I would say is like a great traveling board.
Great display board. It looks good and it's cohesive, and I like it. It looks like. What do you guys think?
Oh yeah, I agree. It looks really cool. I like I can picture it as like what do you call it? So the Tau usually fight on like when they do their what's it like? I keep forgetting the names. Like their
Reconnaissance
sphere expansions.
Uh-huh.
Like you've got the 3rd sphere, then the 4th one, but didn't happen because they went into the warp and bad stuff happened. And like the 5th sphere. So no, it all blends well. The OSL isn't too egregious because sometimes people make insane OSL where it's just like, they're playing in like disco world. But no, all blends together and the bass tune ties in. Like I like how because I try and do it with my display boards where I try and put the tufts to sink in a bit with the bases to kind of help remind me who I put there, but also so it's like
that immersion.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. And it doesn't clash. It complements the whole scheme as a whole with a nice. So the tau models still pop.
Yep, colors are there. They're important. They're the main attraction of the picture, right? That's what you want to look at.
Yeah, and the team is the main attraction here, right?
Right.
The Earth looks really nice, and then you have a nice transfer up here. James, what do you think, brother?
I think it's pretty good because no single model takes away from the show from the rest of them. So instead of attracting the eye to one certain part, you look at the whole thing and it all matches, all blends together. It's like a cohesive part. So, and I said about the bases, they definitely match the diorama. So it's basically a dedicated thing for this team, which is great.
Yeah,
that's a great point. Great point you pulled out, which is like there's nothing that really, is one eye. Because normally when I'm looking at a photo and there's one really defining part, like I get a slight anxiety because my eyes just want to keep doing like the one direction, whatever it is. So this is nice because you can look at it and it doesn't really hurt to stare at, that's good.
Yeah, it's a great thing to look at.
Not to say you can't use the other thing to your advantage, right? Because you can definitely guide people to force them to look at something.
Yeah, this one's this I think is a very good, simple display board. I don't think there's anything. I can't find anything wrong with this.
Not at all. I would be happy to look at this and go, "This is going to score high."
Because there are certain things that are like sometimes people do display boards that are just too big, right?
It can be too big,
and it can detract from the team. Some people make display boards that are too small, that detract from the team,
right?
And everything feels cluttered and crowded.
Space is important. Give them room to breathe, guys.
And I think another reason why we enjoy talking about hobby so much is because we really championed Hobby Track for 2 years. We hosted it on the lustersworkshop.com website. And I love that GW's finally taken over, right? Though they still don't have any guiding metrics.
They've taken over.
Yeah, taken over. So here we have another ABC Sean's, one of his display boards. This one I like the least out of his display boards that he showed up. Now, white is very difficult to paint. I'm not judging the painting of these guys. They look very nice. It's just the base is very...
It's a little plain, which is understandable. Maybe he was working on it, just wanted to do something quick. Totally fine. Like he can add rocks in the future. My main issue is it's a little close, which unless he was going for that, like I only have so much space, so I'm making a close box. But everyone's really crowded.
Yeah.
So I can't quite really look at too many. There's like a handful of guys that really stand out because, well, they're in the front.
The sword stands out the most to me.
Yeah. Like I definitely can't see the kin link in the back over there because he's just kind of blocked by a bunch of stuff, right?
Well, I mean, it's
and
also
the dozer's hidden. I didn't even realize the dozer was there until you zoomed in.
Yeah. What do you guys think?
Yeah, it's the same thing. Like the base scene, I get it. It's just like, and I don't like how it looks like the display board is supposed to have gaps, but some of the base paint it's a bit nitpicky, but it's like overspilled into it. And it doesn't really show off the kill team too well because, as Giacomo said, it's too densely packed, so it's really hard to make out a lot of the operatives. It doesn't help one's facing the medic's facing the Han's facing the wrong way.
That's true.
It's decent painting. It's just a shame.
Right there.
Yeah.
Now, what's interesting, Giacomo he really likes stepped display boards.
I do. I like where there's levels, like where, as I mentioned earlier, you can use it to your advantage to force people to look up or to look down, right?
I think we've all seen...
Lucas's was steps, right?
Yeah, Lucas, that was the first Warhammer one, right? We saw steps.
We saw steps.
Interesting thing, I think everyone has seen the Darth Vader Space Marine, kill team where they had, Darth Vader and they had, a bunch of Imperial soldiers, and it was 3 models on the bottom row, 3 models on the top row. It was 5 stormtroopers and Darth Vader, right?
Right.
And that is a perfect stepped display board, right? 2 different levels inside of an intimate, right? Of course, I didn't pull that photo.
That's all right.
Yeah. James, did you have anything else? Anything different?
I got a comment and a question for you, actually.
Sure.
So kind of you already covered most of it for this board, but kind of like the last one and this one, while they're both great paint jobs, great boards, there's nothing that really makes it stand out. You say, hey, come look at this. This is one really cool thing that people remember. So it's great paint job, great cohesion, but doesn't have that wow factor that kind of wins you a display board competition.
Correct.
I think that's something important. I think that is something important. Is a great display board has that cool factor. You're like, oh, that's cool,
right. And you tell people, come look at this, right?
Yeah. So sometimes some display boards have that, and some display boards don't. This one, I think, to elevate it, I think we would like to see
just a few more elements, maybe.
Elements or a stepped display board. It doesn't really make sense in Mars, but
yeah, you could have some slight mountain ridges.
Yeah.
But just to kind of defend these kind of boards, this is actually perfect to take kind of forever boards. Like, all right, I'm going to a local event, but I kind of still want to show it off when it's hobby time. So let me take the small one. I know I'm not trying to impress the judges here, but it looks good enough.
Yeah, they've seen this.
They've seen this 1,000 times, but no one's offended by it. It's just like, it's good. It's good enough. And there's always an argument for that. If you have a good enough one too, that's fine. Whatever. It's still going to be cool, and it's still a lot of work. So
and sometimes if you're not done with like a really big display that you're doing or something like that, you can always bring this to display boards, like what I did to Dallas, right? Which we'll go over Mike's later on.
Yep.
He beat me. He had a great display board. I brought a little display board like this.
Yep.
And he brought a real one, a real display, and won it. So this is Sean's last one. Let's see if I can. This one I
like the colors.
I love it. I think the colors are amazing. That's green, right? There is green there.
That is orange. I'm kidding. It's green.
Oh, jeez.
Very Martian red.
I know, right? I love that the bikes in the back are like really in the shadow.
Yeah, like it doesn't, like you can tell what it is without it like being in your face.
Stealthed almost.
Very stealthed. I like that.
Maybe in the dark.
Good.
Leaves a lot of room for interpretation. Also built on one of the same displays, and the Jaegers here look phenomenal.
This is a good step up.
Yeah,
this is a better step up compared to the Mars one.
And I love the green in the bases. Like, I'm sure I can't see it as vibrant as you guys do, but I think it's super cool. It definitely gives a nighttime vibe. What do you guys think about this display board?
No, yeah, it's pretty good. I like how the bikes. Well, obviously, I invested in the hover trikes, but like they're painted in such a way that it represents they're moving at nighttime because they're like faded out. So they're in there, but they're not detracting
from the team,
from the miniatures. And I like how the miniatures pop. And yeah, I like the green alien basing. It looks like they're basically scouting somewhere exotic at night, which is what this kill team would be doing for 40k and kill team.
Absolutely. Yeah. What about you, James?
It's like all the lens glow and the power sword glows too. So basically, you see the bright and dark, attracts you to the weapons, and from there, the rest of the models. And some very good leather highlighting too. I like that.
Yeah.
And you mentioned this earlier too. Like all these boards, you mentioned people who travel a lot. This seems like these boards will fit into one of those small cases for travel. So even though they're cramped together, I think it's practicality at this point also.
And this one feels a little more spacious, even though technically it's probably more cramped than the previous team. I don't know why. I feel like there's less what's the word? Claustrophobia in this board. It feels more open, even though I know it's not.
Definitely feels more open.
Yeah. Good job. This is honestly, it's one of my favorites.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So this is all of ABC Sean's. I think he did a great job on all his displays. But we're going to move on to the next one. This is the Adepticon.
Yeah, this one I love.
This one showed up at Adepticon. I think this was, from what I was told, this was an Inquisition kill team. And the next slide you'll see was his duo partner. If I got it wrong, I apologize. I'm working on secondhand information here. But this looks great. It looks really cool. Look at the the glass.
This was like a painting, like someone.
That's from the Rogue Trader game.
Yeah.
I think the only thing that detracts from this one for me is the layer lines here from the 3D printer.
All right, and that's a small nitpick. It's not even that big of a thing.
Hey, I gotta say something.
Mechanicus Prim.
What do you guys think? Let's get your take on this first.
Yeah, it's good. It's just very grandiose. It's almost more of a diorama than a display board.
I would agree.
This is like a codex picture you see in like the book DW.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking because of the way the picture's taken. Like they're rushing out, and that's what I can't remember some of the artists now would draw like this, and it's good. It's good. It's good.
I'm a big fan of this one.
I'm a big fan of this
I know.
one.
I like this one. I don't really negative.
It's hard to
nice.
display your team, so I'll give them a little bit of a knock for that. But I like maybe it is just the photo that's making me like this more. Trying to see it from a display, like that might be.
We could get up on above and see all that.
So I don't want to
stuff.
praise it like too much because it is a forced perspective, and who knows? Maybe there's more sides of the board because we can't see the whole thing. But I like it overall. Yeah,
It's very dynamic. I like it.
So his duo partner, wow, this is really nice, right?
great
It's
that
really
it
cool.
is.
It's really cool. There's one thing that I dislike about it.
You want to say it?
I know what you're gonna say.
Curtains do not match the drapes. Look at. Sorry. So,
There's rocks on beaches.
yeah, there's rocks on beaches, but I would have loved to see the sand here actually
some sand.
colored the exact same.
Right, to bring
color,
it
right?
into the board.
The thing that I'm actually drawn most to is the smack bar up here.
It is big. I'm on the yellow. I'm on the different sign, so mine is the yellow sign.
Okay.
But that's a forced perspective, which maybe you could have put a dude on the roof, which would have been cool to look at too.
Yeah.
It's still nice. It's still nice, and I get why it would be.
Dude, I
win.
think this is sick. I think it's sick.
pretty nice.
It's sick. What do you guys think?
It's good, but the base scene throws it off for me. It's just like,
Yeah, it breaks that immersion.
yeah, it's just, I like it. I just wish like they just even you could have like you didn't even need the beach for that because it's clearly like they're on a city cracked road,
Right.
so they could have just made it like
City.
a roadside stall, or even like a dine-in diver, something like that.
It feels like they either ran out of time or
That was the
the
texture
two
thing,
teams
yeah.
were done at different times.
Right. The team was done, then the board was done later. I can
Yeah.
see that. Yeah, I can see that.
I like how all the colors match, though. What do you think, James?
I kind of fall into the same category where like my team came before my board sometimes. Like I'm not going to change my entire 40K army side just for one kill team.
Right. No, I totally get
Hell,
that.
I
too.
would.
I wouldn't ask you to.
It's like 10
too much
models.
Work. No, I
not
like this
insane,
Akimbo
but,
guy. This guy Akimbo's pretty cool.
Yeah, this guy's dope. The Daka boy, the Daka Dash.
That's a good.
Look, there you go. The mask matches the snack bar. We're good to go.
That's fair. So this was Adepticon, and I believe they both won a prize. I think that they did an excellent job. We're just nitpicking at this point. They could have won some of our big events too. Man, they look great.
I like that freehand graffiti on the tank.
Yeah.
And the nice little
The
piece
printout,
of paper,
and
the
then
printout,
it's
all that
aged.
kind of stuff.
It looks good.
Yeah. Next up, I think we have Aiden, and Aiden is a pretty legendary figure.
He does have a style.
in SoCal. He has a big style, and he always paints to that style, which is a little bit of a detracting because it's the same. He's colorblind just like me, so it's amazing that he does so many things. He will be on our probably.
You feel a certain way because he's like you.
Yeah, I mean, I can see what he sees, but
Favoritism.
but I think it's going to
Excuse
be.
me.
He's probably going to be on our next one. He won ITC last year, and he's on track to win again.
Dang.
Yeah,
Someone's got to dethrone him.
he's doing really well. So this is the only picture I could get. There's 2 photos. I'm going to save the rest because every event he comes to, he typically brings a whole brand new painted team and display board. It's insane. But
The
how do you
man
kill that
works.
which
I'll
has
give him
no
that.
life?
I'll give him
Yeah.
that. He works.
He does. So this was his intercession board with a free-handed window.
You want to zoom in a little bit?
Yeah. Sorry for the picture, everyone. It is.
That's a little better. Now we can kind of see more of that.
It's difficult to see because it is a little cockeyed, but couldn't get any other photos of it. I think that I took this photo like a ding dong. But yeah, I thought this looks really good. His next board is really, really cool too. This one actually won All Valley Team Tournament.
Oh, this
last
one I
year.
liked.
And it is a shittier picture because I took it. I would like to get your guys' take since John's probably never seen this board before. And what's interesting is that he actually gave this board away with the team at a recent tournament because he had too many teams fully painted. He gave away his first place team. What a problem! This guy.
It's a huge flex.
Yeah, it's a poor picture. He has a very black, heavy-handed shading technique like you see on the ground here with nice highlights. John, what do you think, brother?
No, it looks great. Is that like a giant crab or tentacle monster in the middle?
Anointed,
so.
I think.
Yeah.
No, it looks great. I like how it looks more cell shaded, but also I like how the base scene ties into it. You can tell like they're basically breaking through an Abordian action. It looks really cool.
I love the blue lines and the blue streaks and how he really wraps that in here.
Yeah.
You know?
The man had a plan and he stuck to it.
Yeah. Crush. This is the first time we ever met him, too. Or no, it was my second time meeting him, the first time that we ever saw a crazy display from Aiden.
Yeah, this one's a really, like, partial story. It's there, you can see, you understand what's going on, and it's still good that you could bring it to pretty much every time, and it's going to be nice. Yeah, this is good.
He was at LVO with the Chaos Dwarves, if you remember them.
They were in, like, the little mine with the cart and stuff.
They're the Hearthkin Chaos Dwarves on the
Yeah.
mining carts, if you remember.
I like the guy with the map. I just like that dude with the map in the bottom.
They're space pirates.
Yeah, they're space pirates.
Yeah, he's a treasure map.
Yeah.
And their team was based on pirates last year. They all came dressed as pirates. They all acted like pirates the whole time. And the winner, or like the person who scored the most amount of points, became their captain. So the captain got to boss all the other guys around during the event, the last All Valley, which was they won best sportsmanship too. Dudes are hard to beat. Good guys.
Good guys.
We'll go on to the next one. This is Alexander
Shout out to Alex
Popov.
Popov. Got to shout him out at least once.
Yeah. So Alex brought this to LVO, and this is every single faction choice for Inquisition. I have a couple other photos here as well, a couple close-ups, but I think this is like Kasserkin in the back. He has his Exaction Squad, Veteran Guard, Navy Breachers.
No sisters, though. You don't
No
really take
sisters.
though.
Yeah, who cares?
Yeah, exactly.
I care.
On the roster.
They're on the roster somewhere.
Yeah.
So the one thing I'm going to, Alex, as much as we're friends, we're homies,
We are.
I
homies.
gotta give you a little bit of feedback.
Yep.
And this is harder because there's so many models. Like doing these shots like these, I think are cooler for this kind of board, where you're showing off the little elements. I would have liked if the Inquisition was more in the front because that is the main team,
Oops,
right?
wrong one.
Right? Like they're the big. So if you look at the big one, they're in the very back. Like I think they should be where the Exaction Squad is, right? Like because that's Inquisition. Obviously, the rest of the guys are also Inquisition, but that's like the main guys. I think if he decides to move them closer to the front, like a couple dudes are there, like the Penal Legionnaire, and I forget the 2 swordman guy, but that dude fucks.
Yeah.
And he uses levels, right? So now let's get into some nice things he does. He uses levels, so I am going to start looking in each direction, starting from up to down, which is nice. I get it. The board is, it's a lot of models, hard to look at in the total thing. So having levels helps you break this, right?
Yeah.
Because technically we don't have a full height limit. No, I think we've decided, what was it, 36 inches is going to be our height limit now?
36 inches is the highest.
So we're going to
it's
have
a
that.
15 by 11 or 12 by 12, 36 inches tall, max.
Right. So if you can, use elevation because, we have a lot of space over here as opposed to
What
out
time
here.
did he take this photo at? 9
That was in January, yeah.
PM. Wow,
Yeah.
Alex, sending me old
So
photos.
like this is fun because I really enjoy looking at the Kasserkin on the top parts because I'm gonna naturally look up.
Yeah.
So you could even put like some of your main characters up there that you want to show off. Like that'd be a good use of that.
What do you guys think? And then I'll give back my feedback at the end.
You can't just put them all on top. You now like have a chainsaw standing on top of a building. That doesn't make sense. I feel like this.
It's heroic.
all the guys with guns are in the back. All the guys with melee are in front.
Yeah, I like it.
/ the Kriegsmen who are just sacrificial lambs.
All running down about to get frag grenaded.
Images.
do you
I
think?
agree with Giacomo because it's like the issue is they kind of all because the exaction popped the most, but because of the weird because the color scheme of the board, the rest of the teams kind of blend into it, so it's very easy. I didn't realize it was an Inquisition team until I looked at the back because you've got the Quest Keeper and a very buff Penal Legionnaire.
I like how buff. I like his. Yeah, I like it.
Mad Max at the front. I guess it's a demon world, but it looks like just because you've got this blue streaking across the base scene.
So
I know there's a tentacle in the back of the.
A lot of his guys are tainted by Zinch.
Yes. Yes.
You got the 2 servitors back here.
See, because I want to see those fun dudes that he has for his Inquisition that I can't really see because they're not in the front, right?
Yeah. I personally think he did a great job. I think that there's not enough layers or height to show off all of them because there's actually people in this trench back here.
Oh,
you
shit.
really have to
gosh,
get in.
Yeah,
You really
I
have.
see
Yeah.
that.
I mean, there's 40 models or something, right? Like, it's just like a ton of models to put on this small little display.
I get it.
So,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I know the thought direction of getting there and doing it. I think the only thing is, like, there's too much going on. Because it's hard to see your team and it's hard to know what's going on unless if you're like, you play Kill Team, right? Like, you know what this team is. Objectively, I still think he did a great job for including like 40 models.
I'll give
It's
you that.
insane.
Yeah, he put it on the board. You got him there.
I also like that all of the bases, like this is all 3D printed, right?
Right. He does the slots, right?
Yep, the slots. I'm a big fan of slots.
I'm coming around to them.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of them. And it's actually harder for me to see these guys because of all the reds and stuff. The green kind of blends in for me. I know, John, you were saying that they like pop the most for you, but for me, they blend in the most.
Oh no, it's the exaction for me because of the bright
Because they're
baby
white.
blue.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I agree.
Because the red would have popped out too, but they're in the back where it's hardest to see.
Alex is an amazing painter, though, so he does a lot of good stuff. I think that this was like his first really big display board.
Right. So he's learning. He's going to keep getting better each time.
Absolutely. And I think he does a lot of stuff like looking and reading painting books and like kind of like monochromatic and like he does a bunch of different stuff. So I think that whenever you're painting or you're making display boards, push yourself to do something you're not always comfortable with because that'll make you better later on, right? So we'll move on from Alex Popov here. This is Ben Campbell. He was also at LVO. Didn't get a photo from Ben. Ben, I called you. I asked. Ben. That's okay. That's okay.
Disappointed.
This is I am disappointed. But he was with his family. I get it.
I get it.
It's
the weekend.
I get it. Ben.
He's excited for that new edition of Middle Earth Strategy Battle Game coming out. Okay,
He sure
There it
is.
is.
He sure is. So Ben had an amazing kill team. I think he won Tampa.
Yes. Yeah. with the team.
Best painted at Tampa with the same Red Corsairs. It seems like Red Corsairs win everything because I think Red Corsairs won LVO year 1, 2, everyone. So if you guys
that's
want to
right,
win a
that's
painting
right.
competition,
Red
just
Corsairs.
paint Red Corsairs. But like his OSL in the back is amazing. His bases matching is great. In person, you get to see a lot more detail. He did an amazing job. Definitely in top 10 of LVO.
And 100% GW parts.
Yep,
As he told
100%.
us, he wanted no issues from judges. Like everything here is GW.
Yeah, he kit bashed everything. He green stuffed a bunch of stuff. Because that's the other thing that's crazy with modeling, right? Everyone is like, we want to see conversions. We don't want to just don't bring your commandos. Like, bring the dude that has double guns.
Right. The
doing some
Akimbo was
stuff.
awesome, right? Yeah.
Like, bring something extra because if you're trying to win in competitive painting, you have to smash the painting. You have to smash the conversions. Speaking of conversions, John Reese won best single model at LVO, right?
Yeah, that was a dope model.
It was
I remember
a
it.
sick
Yeah.
ass model is what it was. But yeah, there's a lot of really good stuff coming from Ben here. But it's kind of hard to see. So do you guys have anything you guys want to say before we move on to the next one?
Oh no, I saw it in person. It looked amazing. I only slight criticism because I used to not care at first, but then I asked a bunch of friends about display boards and stuff, and it's really annoying that I have to agree with them that they're right. But I prefer it when the models have like holes to sit into, so they meld into, so they blend into the display board better. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
At first, I was like, no, you don't need it, but I was like, annoyingly, it does look
Right.
better.
It comes around. Yeah.
In the end, it always does look better. But for not having slots and having pure GW parts.
Oh yeah, it's great.
Yeah. Ben, I wish I could have seen bigger pictures of this, my guy. But maybe next time.
There's still time.
So this one is from, let's see if I can pull up the name real quick. Oh, I think I forgot the name. I apologize, everyone.
Wow, this is nice.
This is a great a great Kroot kill team. I think this was at Blunt Force up in Pacific Northwest. I think I forgot to add the name. I think it's Noah, but I'm not 100% sure.
Ooh, that's the skin. What's the thing called? Skin render? Skin.
This guy down here?
The gun. It's the. What's it called?
Dude, that was great. Yeah.
The skin catcher. Is that what it is?
Not sure. What do you guys think about? I mean, I don't know Kroot very well. I just know that they don't perform very well in stats.
Oh no, Kroot are amazing. They just can't kill anything.
Oh, that one fucked me up.
It's not a kill team.
That's how many Kroot it takes to kill one guardsman.
It's true.
I think it's wonderful, and this is a good use of not having holes, and I still like it.
Yeah,
you
it's
know?
true.
Yes.
I mean, this does
Yeah.
look really nice. The bases really match here. You can tell like there was intent. There was 100% intent building
And
this board.
there's a little bit of a story. All right, cool. This is their base of operations kind of thing. Like, I get it.
The leader is on the tallest point.
Yeah,
right?
there you go. And it's using levels to dry your eyes. I go like this.
Yeah, you
right?
wanna go like
I
this,
come from
right?
I go to the left and I go to the right. It's
And then you
It's
almost
good.
settle back here to be like, what is this? And then
yeah,
it
the
almost
blue, and
brings
then you can
back
see the
in
cave on the
wanting
inside, and you're like, I get it now.
yeah, it's almost like
This is good use of composition.
it's like it's not only a great composition, like when you look at it, when you look up close, all of the Kroot have different colored skin,
Mhm.
right? Like they're all like how Kroot
Would
are
be,
in fiction, but also they all look like they're still a part of the same team.
Yeah.
Rather than it looking like this is my blue Kroot, this is my red Kroot, I'm a Power Ranger. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, what do you guys think?
They're all grunged down, so it matches kind of the desolate, barren background of what the Roxy's trying to do. So even though they pop out from the background, they still kind of blend in.
Yes. Yeah.
Mhm.
And it works.
No, yeah, I love it. The only thing I would critique is just there's two orange Kroot, and the problem is they blend in to the
A little.
a little
I
bit
can see
too
that.
much. Because otherwise, everything that's like greeny or blue turquoise contrasts really, really nicely.
Yeah,
It's a perfect feel.
I love this like shade
This blowing up into the
that they've made.
That's
Yeah.
a drop pod, a Space Wolves drop pod door
Wow.
specifically.
What
which is
an
cool.
amazing entry. Whoever did this, kudos to you. Kudos to you. If you guys again want to have us look at your display boards, or maybe even works in progress, like
Right?
make sure you share them on our Discord so we can take a look.
And that is
Sorry
the
for the
Squad Games
podcast
Discord.
listeners. I just realized
Yeah, again, our pictures are going to be on the Squad
This
Games
is-
Discord, so you'll be able to check them out there.
this is a very
It's a very visual episode,
Visual
but you can hear
episode.
our excitement for each of these.
exactly.
Dang, I wish we would have started naming these boards, even though they. Oh,
What?
we'll get to that. And we'll get to that later.
Yeah,
Yeah, we'll get to
naming
that
boards
later.
is also important.
Yeah, we'll get
But-
to that later.
Yeah.
Oh my god, damn!
Yeah,
This is nice.
this one is. I think
Holy
this is at
shit! It's
Tacoma.
the colors for me.
Yeah, I don't know how-
Can you see all the colors, Dakota?
I can see a lot of them.
Oh my god!
This is such a beautiful display board from Tacoma. I don't know how it did not win.
Is this Star Striders?
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is Star Striders, yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I'm trying to see. I have a name here. I just have to.
I,
pull it up.
I can see like what I love about it, and some things I don't like is maybe they blend in a bit too much into the board.
Yes. I
But
see
that right, some of the yellow parts and oranges. The blues are really good because it helps you stand out a lot. Like I think the guy in the very back, which I'm assuming is going to be his Death Cult assassin, and what I'm assuming is the leader over there on the left, are really nice because they pop
Bryce
out more.
N made this display board, and I believe he's from Canada.
Shout out to Bryce N.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is good. His use of acrylics on there is a nice element, which is hard to work with.
His
or can be hard to
non-metallic
work with.
metals up here.
Yep.
I could see why some people might not like it because there is so many colors, but I mean, it's like a super alien world, you know? I love that there's like grass floating through the river. It just makes it feel like it's fall in
The
an
flowers
alien
feel
world
right
or something.
too. Like this would be where the flowers would be. It feels really good.
Very colorful. What do you guys think?
Definitely captures that alien landscape and like strangeness of like, well, his kill team, which kind of what he wants to go for. Sounds like.
Mm-hmm. This is a board that I think would have been really nice for slotted display bases.
Yeah,
Something
actually,
something that like one, outside of how beautiful and amazing this is, one detriment is,
like
they're
he's on
just
the water.
they're just sitting on top of all the flock, right?
Yeah.
Some of them blend in really nicely. Like this one back here, you almost can't tell, right? And this one as well. These two you can't really see, but this one is kind of jarring, and so is the one up front. But outside of that, I don't think that there's any. I can't say anything else negative about this. I love that he used water effects. How many times do we see water effects in display boards?
Maybe like 1 for every 7 boards or something.
It's a lot more common in 40K boards, right? A lot more common. But
I mean, overall, good job.
Yeah, this is an amazing, just artistic capability of this person.
Just missing the dog.
Is he missing the dog?
Yeah.
I see
That's
the
why I
dog.
didn't win.
He's missing.
Oh, it's in the back, maybe?
Oh, maybe back here.
Oh,
Maybe
yeah, there's another model right there, but he can't see it.
Where's the dog? The dog's my favorite.
Yeah, I think you had it when you zoom
What
in.
did the dog do? Where did dog?
Oh, is this it?
I think it's that, but it's hidden because there's the base behind the.
Yeah, that thing looks dope.
I mean, I would like to see it,
Yeah,
but that's a picture.
this is a first world problem.
This
You don't
exactly.
get
We're
to see it,
we're
okay?
we're nitpicking now.
This picture's from Disregarding Dice. If you guys want to see it in closer up, go to disregardingdice.com. Not a sponsor, just a homie.
Just a homie.
Yeah. So this is from Charlotte. This is somebody who's local. Now, Charlotte she's really leveled up her display board in a lot of ways, and I really like the contrast here. Firstly, the water effects, which I just said not everyone does. Again, we have water effects here. I think where the detriment to this board is there's not as much contrast on the models as of yet, whether she's finished with them or not. But I would like to see more pieces. Maybe they're more ethereal. Maybe these guys are just coming out of the blood. You know what I mean?
Because I think them, like if she's using this green right here on those colors, that would probably help really, stand it out. Because otherwise, it's hard to look at and really kind of understand, like, what am I looking at for a second?
Agreed.
It's a little hard.
There's a couple other photos here I have as well. This is just her display board. I like the pieces
Cherry
here.
blossoms.
Very, 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 very alien, for sure. What do you guys think?
I think some of the smaller details, like the little necklaces they have, those bring out a little more color, so contrasting.
Yep.
So eye lenses or eyeballs.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's almost like it's still a little bit of work in progress before the OSL is finished, because we got the red glow on the right side, but no really blue glow on the left side.
I can see that. See that?
Yeah, it's like the painting on the models, but also it's just the side on the red side just completely blend in, and it's where the display board is more noticeable than the models.
I can see that.
Yeah.
And I like the Wraithgate. The only issue is I think Eldari players forget how big the Wraithgate is. So it's like it's a great
massive.
terrain feature, but it's taller than a Titan, like Eldari Titan.
It's good.
So
You
it's
got
kind
3
of-
feet. You got 3 feet.
You do have 3 feet. I actually did something similar to this exact painting thing. Man, I wish I had a picture of it. I almost did this almost exact same thing in college for my art class. I did like a fire on one side, I did water on the other side. My teacher was like, "Make art," and I was like, "All right," and that's what I did. So this kind of brings me back to that as well.
And that could work because using elements of warm tones and cool tones together is actually, again, looking at Lucas's, his was using cools and warm tones, and that works. And that could be this, but it's not quite there yet.
I do like how much these models do stand out from the display board, but it's almost like a dichotomy where these ones don't, and I want them to. I think she's missing the compositional effect
Right.
from just that. But overall, I think she did a good job for what she was going for.
I'm glad they're coming out of their comfort zone to do it,
Yeah,
I think that's important.
Yeah. Moving on to the next display board, we have
A diorama piece.
Chiller from Las Vegas. His whole team, I think, is getting a display board, but this is the only thing that Chiller did. I think we had him on last week.
We did.
Him and the Sin City crew are great. They're definitely leveling up from when we first met them in Hobby, right? This little piece back here is an LED piece, and I think Disregarding Dice took this picture at Tacoma. I think he did a great job. I think a little bit more shading in the face to add a little bit more contrast. Mm-hmm. When you do skin at this level, you have to make sure it's a lot of contrast. But that's more of a pickiness on painting. I really like the composition of this, and I'm really excited for Chiller to level this up and bring it to the whole team.
Right, to the entirety. Because this is good for just like one single model.
Yeah.
Single model. This is a good use of LEDs that aren't over the top and like, because sometimes when you have LEDs, it just shoots onto the model and then the paint job is lost. Mm-hmm. Right? So like this is like, until he told us that, I didn't know that was an LED. I thought that was just something he painted on.
Yeah, which looks great.
It looks great. Yeah, like it looks great if you painted it, and it's even more impressive to say that it's the LED that's not, taking away from the rest of the art piece. Mm-hmm. It's good. I like it.
This would be great as a singular model for
entry, like on a little plinth.
And
I think that's what it's on, right? On a little plinth. Yeah,
that's what it was for.
What do you think, John?
No, yeah, it looks really, really good. I'd like to see what the full team looks like, but no, it's great. I really like the blending on the terrain feature as well, like on the eagle, and even you can tell like there's some nice blending on the brickwork, but it's just very, very nice. I like how it ties together.
He told us that they read the packet the night before at LVO and realized that basing was a part of like scoring. So they went to Gamers Grass, bought a bunch of Gamers Grass, then shoved a bunch of things on the bases, and they're like, "It's based." And then we were like, "Hey,
it actually works out really nice." Yeah, so like, good on them.
Yeah.
And I like that he just uses white.
No base at all.
No bases at all. They're just floating plastic pieces on the board.
That's actually a display board that I want to do. Is you guys know Indian in the Cupboard?
Yeah, I know Indian in the Cupboard.
So it's a movie
and a book.
From the 90s, where there's like an Indian
he has a
Native American
cupboard. Yeah,
that you would close a cupboard, you would lock it and open it, and this dude would come alive like action figure,
right?
And it was really interesting. And there's like a cowboy, and like anything you put in there, it would come to life, right?
Put your 40K in there.
Yeah, so like have your dudes like magnetic that just go into a cupboard and they look like they're alive, like fighting. Like,
honestly,
like
that'd be kind of a fun board on its own.
It would be dope. It'd be cool. Throwback to a movie. So this one is from. I want to get your guys' opinions on this because this is amazing. This is from Chris Fritz, and I think this was from Kill Scream 2, which I think they renamed to CritCon.
Yes.
Also a really cool tournament coming up in the Pacific Northwest. Yep. I think 128 player max.
That'll be in October.
Yep. Let's see if we can get. There we go. What do you guys think about this? I'm not going to say anything. Have you guys go first.
I like it. It kind of looks like, well, basically there was the Cestus Assault Ram who doesn't exist anymore, but it's the Space Wolf longboat thingy. Mm-hmm. I really like it as a whole because it ties into the Space Wolf blue, obviously pops versus everything else. I like the red weapons. The only thing that detracts it a bit from me is the orange sky thingy. Because I guess it's to represent it barging through. But that's the only thing that detracts a bit for me. But otherwise, no, it looks great.
Your team is very well put together. The armor makes sense, tells a story. So like the orange sky, but you don't really see any orange glow on the models. But maybe that's the way you wanted to kind of set it up.
Yeah,
I think a little bit of painting the actual ship behind would have been great.
Oh yeah,
but for me,
Yeah,
maybe it's like a glare in your eyes. Maybe there's a little bit of orange here, from wherever the light is coming from.
Oh, I missed those.
But I do think that this team is really well put together, and the best thing about this team is that it tells a story. This is one of the first boards that we've ran into outside of the pirate one from Aiden that we've come across that really tells a story. It really emphasizes This is a breaching crew. They're coming to fight, painted amazingly. I would not be surprised if this team like won first place just because it tells a story. The models are nice. There's a display board, right?
I feel like that Reaver was a last-minute addition because he's
Over
not
here?
into the board. Yeah.
Yeah. He might have been like, oh, I need one more Reaver for kill.
Now here's a question for everybody. Is there a time with, like, let's say elite teams or teams that have a bunch of models where you may not want to put them all on the display board because, like, here there's a couple guys in the back that are sort of getting hidden because there's a lot of models. Like, is there a time where you may not include them? Like,
I think in Kill Team specifically, just like in Warhammer 40K, anyone you're playing with needs to be included.
okay,
I've seen too many times where people will go display all the models that are fully painted, and then they leave their 2 models that are unfinished off the board. And to me,
Gotcha.
that's dishonest,
okay,
right? You want to have everyone who's there, anyone who you're playing with. Now, the forged brush is different, right?
right.
If we're saying like the forged brush, we want to see everyone is kind of like
Everyone gets their spotlight.
like this is the team, this is what you're putting forward. But for hobby track, for like best in show at the competition, we want to see everything there, even if there's a model left unpainted. That's my answer. Do you guys have an answer?
No, I agree. I'm the same. Like if, because the problem I find, I usually run full 20 roster kill teams. So it makes it more difficult for me. Like my exaction squad was really difficult because I had to fit all 20 operatives on there.
Jesus.
And I've been fitted 21st on there because I did it as a test model. So I was like, well, I painted it, so I'll just put it on there. But I agree. They all need to be on there because otherwise it feels a bit... If it's a painting competition, fine. But if you're entering that part of the tournament, you kind of need to put everything on.
Okay.
I would be the opposite voice for this one. I think that part doesn't matter as much because if you have your 6 Marines on the board and it looks like this, you've already demonstrated it. You can paint very well. You can put it together and make it match. Just because you have 2 guys that you don't feel like maybe you hate them all or something, you don't put them on the board, shouldn't take away that you painted a great team and made it go together.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to defend that point because, like, there he clearly showed he can do it. Maybe he didn't need every guy there, and it just felt like it's a smaller strike team like it is in the game, 6 guys. And I think that might have just been a little easier on the eyes, and you could really focus on the models more. To step it up. Now we're nitpicking, but that's what I would have said. You know.
So next up we have this beautiful elf team. Now I have one specific criticism already. Is when you're looking at it, you're not going to be able to see every model.
Oh yeah, there's too much elements.
There's too many elements. There's too many things. I think the display board should have been bigger so that you could have brought more models to the front. But otherwise, I think it was very, very good. A lot of the models are really pretty. What do you guys think? Do you think that all models should be seen from right away, or do you guys think that you should be walking around display boards?
No, I like seeing them all because it's the issue we had with... We've already seen it with some... Like that Starstrider one had the issue where like the dog was hidden. But then even like the Inquisitor one, what was great, more of a diorama, we didn't even notice the breaches until you showed us. So it's just... If it's on a rotating plinth, I don't mind. Like if you get a rotation for it so you can just see it rotating, I think that's fine. But otherwise, no, I prefer seeing them all.
I feel like the board should be like 270 degrees because, like, you're like Dakota, you're 6 feet in the air, you're looking down to the board. From there, you're probably going to see the entire team very clearly. It's only when you have this like a single shot frame from their front where they're not clear. But standing up, they'd probably be very, very different than this. There'd be no shadow from single light sources. You can see the whole team pretty clearly.
So, yes and no. Like when you're judging a display board, you have to get down to the model's eye height, right? Like you want to see what they're seeing. I think that, if you're just glancing over it, you're looking. But I think it's just a failure in composition. Does it look dope? Absolutely. Looks totally cool. But I think compositionally, right? I think I would have liked to see maybe like scale down the 3D print, instead of making it that large.
Just rotate it 90 degrees.
Instead of putting it exactly kind of like cross-shaped, force the perspective to sort of feel like it's cross-shaped, and you kind of create this like a U sort of. So it looks like it's that, but not really. And then you can display more of your models outward, you know?
Create a backdrop for it.
And
Yeah,
a backdrop would
backdrop
help
would be
because
great
then now
too.
you're like, this is how you're supposed to look at it, you know?
Yeah, you want to look at it from a very specific angle. Because what if you walk
perspective.
up on it from a different way? you
Right.
know?
And then I'm like
Or-
not seeing the other guys because he clearly has guys facing the other direction. Right.
Or let's say there's like a really big display table and your model's right here. To get to the backside, you
I
have
might
to
not
walk
be able
around,
to. Yeah, I might not be able
then
to do
you
it.
can't
You know?
see unless if you have to like the judge has to manually rotate it.
Right. If there's something that helps you get there, sure, that's a little better. But not, you know, how many people are going to be doing that? Maybe now because they hear about it.
I'm not saying that this is a bad one whatsoever. I think that the models look great on this display board. We have the tufts that match the display board. Comes from Chris S, I believe, from Kill Scream as well. Some pretty good hobbyists up in the Pacific Northwest. You can kind of see like cool little feathers and
Freehand
paper
things, yeah.
paper plants that have been painted to all match the same thing. I think the hobby effort that went into this is amazing. My biggest criticism is just
seeing the models.
composition.
Yeah. Where you can see them.
Moving on to the next display board, we have Chuck Pepper. Chuck Pepper is he is one of the content creators and hosts for the Kill Team Cascadia podcast.
Shout out to Chuck.
Shout out to Chuck. He's a great dude. First met him, he talked my ear off at LVO #1. I was like, "Why aren't you playing?" And he was like, "Oh, I don't feel comfortable." And I'm like, "My guy,
You're good. You're good.
Come on. What do you guys think?
I like how it basically is. It's a very simple scheme, but done very well. You have your little terrace terrain. You flip it around, so you can see the back. No one's standing underneath the shadow, so you can see it very well. And his hidden OSL it's not too much.
All GW stuff too. I think. Yeah, I like it.
That's
One thing I would have liked is Chuck, if you're listening, to improve this, force perspective here. Because see, like that little part right there, some of the models are kind of get like bunched up, and it's a little hard to see. Now, if I'm seeing this at an angle, because you're forcing everyone to have to look this way, you can really like guide where your models are going to be, and you know where they're going to be set up, so they can see everything. Like, you know, don't be afraid to like think about an image shot in time of everything being seen, right? Like, you know, it's cool sometimes to be able to do that, but there's times where you can be really effective with just, this is it. And I think this is a perfect example of it could be just this, a moment in time, and you see it. And,
I think that would be the strongest case for this one because there are certain display boards where like that one print one, right? Like it had a story, you know, you wanted to read it. You wanted to almost like keep looking at it in different areas. This is very much like you can kind of take in everything at once.
Yeah.
And you kind of want to go up, but then you come right back down.
Right.
Go up, right back down.
But I like that he does that because you have your sniper up there. But you can force us to have to look in a direction, and I think that will get us to see everything a little bit better. Because I think he also may want you to look from behind. Because look where the sergeant's like looking here, and then that guy's looking over there. Yeah, that he just zoomed into.
Yeah.
Like, I think if he does that, then that might be a little better to just force us to look in one way. But overall, I really like that. I think the simplicity, like James mentioned, is done perfectly.
Oh yeah, I like it as well. It's just, I pretty much agree. I think you guys have covered everything.
And I like the Melta-Gunner with no helmet because I am team no helmet for Kesterkin. So,
You are.
Yeah.
You know what's funny is we don't have any of Giacomo's display boards here. I kept calling him today, and he was like, "Oh, I'm not doing anything."
What's this one though?
Oh. Now this display board.
Throw it away. No, I'm kidding.
Whoever made this, jeez. So there's a couple really cool things about this display board in particular, right?
All right.
I'm not going to say who it is. You might know. Everyone who's watching this might have already watched the video that we talked about earlier. But you know, there's a couple things that I really like about this. Firstly, for Kill Team, if you're worried that a judge is going to say no about certain things, label your bases. Look how nice these are labeled.
They are really nicely labeled. Good job.
Yeah. Whoever did this, whoever
that guy
fucking
is.
job. Volgar Thrice Cursed, right? And also some of the people here are harder to name, you know, and then like somebody's like, "Oh, I'm going to shoot Volgar Thrice Cursed," you know, like
Beautiful.
now I know, especially on conversions, it's super useful. You have a lot of glitchlings, right? We have a lot of like bugs, you know. You got your flesh screamer. You have your mutants, right? Amazing conversions and very readable, even though these are completely not the correct models, right? Like it's very readable. And also, this is my favorite Necron model.
I know you love that model.
I fucking love this Necron models. Like, fucking love them.
That's the Destroyer Lord, right? Or is that guy the Destroyer Lord? No, Destroyer Lords are different.
So this is Volgar, and I think these are the other.
Well, I meant the actual model from the Necron.
Oh, Scorpec Destroyers.
Scorpec Destroyers. Yeah,
Thank you.
Destroyers were the dudes with the big old beetle butt that flew. That's right.
Yeah, there's a couple more, but James, what do you think about this? You're a Gellerpox player
I was
yourself.
going to ask him the same thing.
This is what it's about, basically. Kit bashing, making a cool team that's memorable. This is how you win things. You have a great, like last one, great Castercan, good scheme, but no one says like, oh look, another Castercan team comes. Someone says, look at this Necron Gellerpox team. They're like, wait, what? They come see it. They
You're right.
take it.
Yeah, a lot of good Necron Pariah Nexus stuff too.
Yep. Little
Yeah.
pieces, little bricks on them, which I like.
Necromon in the back left. Those worms are Delac.
Oh, is that what those are? Oh,
Yeah, the Delac Robo Worms.
wow, that's cool. So he's, even a little more than that. Those are Grebs. Is that what
Couple
those would
other
be?
photos here too.
Yeah, Sludge Grubs, yep.
Yeah. See, this is a better image, so now I can see more. A good example of like putting everything out on here and seeing everything.
I know it's a little overexposed, but that's okay. I'm sure, that's just the photo, I've seen I think you posted really nice photos somewhere in our Discord, and I couldn't find them.
Dang, he got lost in the cord.
I did. John, you want to tell us a little bit about this display board? Because I also see everything, the curtains match the drapes. You got literally everything here. Like a great, even though it's not, what is this called?
He's not using steps.
It's not using steps. You can see everything because of how well spaced everything is from pretty much any angle.
Yeah, because one of the issues is I forgot.
Wow, I'm just going crazy.
No, I forgot to I completely forgot about the glitchlings and the mutants. So once I glued all the corkboard in, I was like, oh, I need to cut out holes for them. And then some of the holes were too tight. So like my own nitpick is the holes aren't the right size. And then I should have done gray basing over brown because I didn't realize how much it would blend into my copper. But the idea is it's basically they're coming out of a tomb world. So you can see the two doors that they've just came out of. So you've got the Lumberghast and the Bloatspawn. Bloatspawn on the left and the right, and then the Lumberghast on the right. So they're just coming forward, coming for you. And then it's like they're flanked by the Glitchlings and the mutants, and then you got one mutant in the back. So they're just spacing out. So they were all, like I put all the Glitchlings together, all the bugs together. So you've got the Curse Mites on the right, I forget the flies at the back, and then the sludge grubs on the left. But there was enough space because I managed to get a bigger board to space everything out, but still look like a cohesive horde. And then I did for my buildings to contrast. They're red as like Chownaf buildings, and the rocks are grey.
Yeah, I like the brick part a lot because it really stands out. That and the green, but obviously there's a lot of green already. But the red's really nice.
There's green?
There's definitely green.
Are you talking about like just the spikes, or is there more green?
Well, obviously on the weapons too, but the spikes.
Okay,
Yes.
just making sure. I'm just making sure I'm not missing some stuff.
'Cause
Okay.
the red bricks help break a lot of the monotony, right? Because like you mentioned, some of the things kind of blend in with some of the color.
I mean,
a
look
little
at some
bit.
of the blends here.
Well, those
Super
are
nice.
great. That's more of a technique thing, right? That's painting technique. But I mean,
I thought those were flesh chunks, not rocks, originally.
That is fair.
also would have been a cool one. I mean, this dude's all
But,
fleshed
I
out,
mean-
right?
I also like how some of these crystals are also just in your display as well. They're not just on the bases. I think this is a really good, like one of when you see my display board a little later, when my team comes off of the display board, they're not as cohesive as a unit. When this display board has a very clear story, you like looking at the display board as well, right? This reminds me of the Kroot one, but it's cooler because it has conversions. Like there's so many different things to look at because of that. You can be like, oh yeah, this is the flesh screamer. I can get that, or the lumberghast. And if you don't get it, it's fucking labeled. It's great.
That helps with when doing teams like that. Yeah.
Yeah, there's the labels I got from Phil Team. Those are his stickers.
Phil Team? Who's Phil Team?
So
Where can people find him?
So he's got a Ko-fi. Like he basically does all the reference cards and stuff. So I asked him about because originally I was going to use 3D nameplates, 3D printed nameplates. But the problem I have with nameplates is they change the shape of your base, which is problematic for base steppers and cover lines.
Right.
So I just use stickers instead, and they work a lot better. I've trimmed them back. I need to reseal them with watered down PVA, but it makes it a lot clearer because when they go, "What's a mutant?" he's just like that guy there.
Another cool one, I haven't seen this done yet, is transfers. If somebody was able to print transfers and then put transfers on the base.
They definitely do, because there's companies that do it.
Super great job, John. Super great job, brother. Yeah.
Did he glow in the dark at all?
Oh no! Everyone was like, "Oh, you should take out the crystals and replace it with LEDs." I was like, "Yeah, you do that. That's fine. You could do that."
I think if you did that, then like the LEDs would start going into those models,
and then you lose part of it. Use LEDs.
Like you got to use it subtly. There's a subtle use of LEDs.
Yeah. No, but they were like, "Oh, you can make them the shape of the crystals." Like I did that in 2 weeks. I had no time. They were like, "Just rewire it."
I think it's better without them. I think it's perfect the way it is without the LED crystals. You don't need the LEDs.
What did you do for the rocks in the back? Because I'm interested in how you did the rocks. The rocks look great.
Oh, thank you. They're just large bark chips. Because originally I was going to
bark chips, okay.
But these are just large chips of bark that I glued with a glue gun, and then I blended it into the cork and base with and each other with like basically a modeling compound, just watered down to blend it all in to secure it.
Hardcore question here: the back of your diorama, is it painted black?
Yes.
Yes. Yes! Oh, I love that.
If you see from the corners, you'll see darkness. So it's like, because it represents them phasing through.
I'm a big fan of like anything that's not a part of your board, paint it black.
Right, make it disappear.
Yeah, make it disappear. Make sure that people know like this is not part of it, So moving on, this is mine, I guess. I didn't realize that.
Next, right after. Order.
So I brought this to Salt Lake City Open, and I used my lot of years of experience in hobby. Sorry, I have the most amount of pictures here, everyone. So I put my phone up in here. I guess I'll take away this. I put my phone up in here, and it plays a video with the Predator music. Not going to play it here because we'll get demonetized.
That's right.
So we have this. I have some. There's another picture that
before you describe it. What do you guys think?
Yeah, it's a good idea. Good question.
Oh no, I love this one because it's like the LED makes sense, and I like how all the basing ties into each other, and I still think it tells a really cool story. So like it all makes sense for me because it's like, as I said, some people add LEDs and like other effects in the weirdest ways that detract, but this blends in to all together, which is what I really like.
Wait for Batman to pop out.
We don't have Batman. We have Master Chief in these parts. So
wait. Didn't you say that only psychos use LEDs?
Yep. I just said that on purpose. So there are 16 models on this board that are part of my kill team. So I kind of have a lot of models. And my thought process in this was I asked G a lot of questions, color composition wise, right? Because red can be difficult for me. Anytime I'm working with a lot of reds or greens, I do have to get some kind of feedback because I've painted some things that I thought looked cool and they didn't.
Nope.
So, but this is meant to look from this angle and maybe a little bit more at an angle, so you can kind of see more and more stuff. There's a lot of this is a really high quality photo here.
He does have a lot of megapixels.
He does. Oh, it's almost like something's in the window. I wonder what that is. I wonder if that's one of those. There's another picture of it.
Easter eggs are fun in boards, in my opinion. I think Easter eggs are. But when you start doing Easter eggs, you definitely have to have a bigger size.
Yeah.
To hide them,
So this board is still not done. I got to do a lot of graffiti. I got to do some litter and stuff like that. But it is what I could do in about a week. So outside of the 3D printing, the 3D printing and planning.
Right. That takes a little bit longer. I remember those steps.
But I got a bunch of LEDs from a train kit. Got Master Chief, who's just a Casterkin. Everything else is Acadian model. This is Sergeant Harker. I chopped off the bolter, the heavy machine gun, and gave him a plasma. There's a flamer back here. And then I have this guy who's like a $200 model. I chopped off his $200 little arm and gave him another Power Fist because Power Fists are cooler.
Power Fists are cooler.
Yeah. And I tried something interesting with this team, paint-wise. I don't think I've ever really got to talk about it. But I did yellow leather because I've seen yellow leather before, but I've never seen it painted. Like those Doc Martens and those like cowhide gloves.
The gloves and stuff, yeah.
And then there's also some other browns and stuff, which I really liked playing with the dichotomy between the two different colors.
It has that Helldivers kind of color scheme.
Does it?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
The black, grays, and yellows.
I didn't play that game.
But it's a good color scheme. I understand.
Ignore the orc head. It will be replaced with a Gene Stealer head, everyone. Okay? This is Sly Marbo with a Casterkin mine. Every single model in this team has some kind of conversion in kit bash from different other Cadian kits. And then up here, on this, his hand broke off in travel, and it pissed me off because I couldn't find it.
Now you got to make a new hand.
I do.
But this is a good one because I like this modern sniper. Like, that's exactly where they would be, right?
Yeah.
I remember originally I was asking you to put them on the other...
On this one?
Because then you're forced to look at it. But I get it. You're putting the billboard up there. I get it.
This guy almost looks like superimposed, but that's the point. I put a grenade launcher up here, and then there's some more Easter eggs throughout the board because I wanted everyone to really look at this board. It tells a story. Your eyes always want to constantly move and travel. And even if you're looking at this board for 5 minutes, you see something new, right? Because the video is like 7 minutes long. So like if you listening to all the video and the music on repeat, I want you to be just looking at the board for as long as possible.
Right.
Because if you're looking at my board for as long as possible, my opponents have no chance. Right?
Yeah, honestly, yeah. It's just like sometimes when that happens, you see like a really well-painted thing and then someone who's not as good, but everything is much more engaging. Mm-hmm. So you're going to spend more time looking at that, and human bias, we're going to eventually go like, I think this is the win, right?
Yeah.
Like that does happen.
I think this display board's 24 inches tall. This little manhole cover actually shoots out a little bit of steam from an old FX steam pod.
Kind of wish they had that in the picture. So
yeah.
Show that off.
Yeah. It is what it is.
But show some of the angles.
So over here, as you can see, you're already starting to see more things. We have the Gene Stealer up here. We have another Gene Stealer down here fighting against the Flamer. I have an LED right above him, and I wanted to do a lot of fun things with shadows in this map. So like you see a shadow here, but also there's a Gene Stealer shadow here.
It's very fun.
And I didn't want to put too many Easter eggs because it could feel overwhelming.
Right. This is a good amount. I think the 3 is fine.
Yeah, I have some freehand on some of the models. Everything that's not supposed to be there, I painted black. I did a lot of like chipping and stuff like that with like got to be glued hairspray and painting and stuff like that. This is a like up front one. You can see Master Chief. I also can paint power blades, John Reese. You're not the only one.
Very nice.
Which I was pretty proud of this one. I got to finish the plasma effects, but that's besides the point.
I'll give it some time to get there.
Yeah. I also did a thing where I would, these bases are actually just GW bases that I would score a line to match the concrete. I have a laser cutter. I have a big 3D printer, so I have a lot of hobby tools, so I can make these kinds of things. But yeah, so this is a really cool photo. And then we have this one, which is looks like almost
this one's more focused on the bottom as opposed to having the whole thing.
Correct.
Is what he did with that one.
This is kind of like the angle that you're supposed to meant to be looking at.
Right.
You know? And then
which you also could have made a board just at that size too.
I could have. Yeah. I definitely could have. Looks like we have another angle. We have one from above. And you kind of get the nice big Gene Stealer here. And then we have Dylan from Predator right here, you know. So, but yeah, this was a really fun project. I had this in my mind for a while now. I've gone through like 3 iterations of what I wanted this team to do. So this is kind of like my big one.
What would you guys add to this board? If you had to add something, guys, at least one thing.
sure. I don't think it does need anything added. Maybe some graffiti on the walls.
Hey, yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah,
Looks a little dirty, like a cracked window to make it look less pristine, perhaps.
okay, that's fair.
That's a good one.
Yep.
Personally, I think you should have the backdrop so you're not creating a one force perspective, but like you can have two. So you're seeing here and then under where the Tyranid is.
Okay.
I think that's one thing that'd be cool because you have that back and it's just the back.
Just open. Yeah.
It's just kind of open, or put like a car or something there. So like something. That's what I was what I was saying when we were looking at this, and I know it's still in progress, so you got time. Now there's one other element which I hope it shows up in the picture.
Oh yeah.
About display boards.
So it has a 5-inch tall base to fit the electronics and the smoke machine underneath, but it has it's not in these pictures, but it has a really big golden plaque, and I named it the Hunt, and then it says Dakota Luster, and it says Veteran Guard. So I named it because it's an art piece, and I don't see enough people naming their display boards. I think
like the Crute one could have totally had a name.
Yeah,
like the Spacewell ones could have had a name.
For all we know,
right?
they could have got cut off like mine, right?
Maybe because that would have been awesome with a name. Like, okay, so now I remember. Like, come see this thing called the Hunt, and then everyone's like, "What's the Hunt?" Well, there's the Hunt, so you go look at it.
Yeah. It's just something to add memory to.
Right, you have a name for the piece of art, like what was the one picture? Girl with pearl earrings, right? Like you know what that is because it has a name, right? The Mona Lisa has a name.
Yeah.
Name art pieces, like you should. I think it's cool that way.
I think so too. I think that's really important. I try to take everything that I wanted in a display board and I really put it in. Is everything too tall? Probably, but I mean that just adds to the vastness, which normally it can take away. But here it feels right in a city because it would be tall, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. If you made the buildings too short, it might not look like a city anymore.
Right. Then you'd have to cut. You'd be cutting off of it on purpose, and then it kind of just would feel a little weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So moving on. Go ahead, James.
I said, like, for the buildings, if you go a little short, like buildings, it's like people went too much to buildings, but once you get taller, now you're going over the top, which makes it cool again.
Mm-hmm. Right. Exactly.
That's true. This has that wow factor I was going for.
It does. Very MCP, and I like it. I like MCP.
Yeah.
That the buildings are cool.
Mm-hmm. It definitely has a little bit, like, I think some of the detriments it definitely has a more modern feel rather than a 40K feel, But it's something that I was kind of going for. I was kind of going for like a Predator 2 vibe. Maybe the Acadians and Master Chief landed on a planet. Master Chief is there to save them all because they're all Acadians and they can't save themselves. Look at their planet. It got blown up. Oh, I'm going to get hate for that.
Damn. But he's a Casterkin. Casterkin are from Cadia.
You're not wrong.
All right, let's get to our next one.
Next one.
Ooh, this is a cool one.
This one is sick.
Damn, this is sick. I haven't seen this one yet.
Yeah, this one is super, super cool. I'm a really big fan of this one in general. What do you guys think? I don't want to overtalk.
Can you go full screen on this one?
Of course I can.
This is definitely like having a nice camera really helps for these. If I took
really helps.
Potato, it'd be like, oh, why is everyone so blurry in the background? For like this, you can see every detail, even though it's like so right, like cramped right there. But it's cramped, but not cramped at the same time.
Right. It's a horrific display of like, and horrific I mean in like a horror way of everyone dying, and I love that. And the main guys are in the front, and we know like the team Mandrakes, like they blend in. So I'm actually not upset that the warriors are in the back. Whatever, they're just warriors. Like your main dudes are in the front, right? Mm-hmm. I wish the Shadow Weaver would have been tilted a bit more.
Yeah. To
see more of like the shadow, but Eric, right? Eric G.
Eric G.
Yeah, shout out, man. This could have been a cool one with a name too. Yeah, this is cool. I like this one a lot. Colors are nice. Everything kind of pops out in its own way without being overly distracting in the background.
Mm-hmm.
The hatchway's fun. Little details to catch. The dead Cadians are cool.
I mean, the Into the Dark's painted.
That too, yeah.
You don't see Into the Dark painted too well all the time.
What did they use for that floor piece? Like, what is that? Is that 3D printed or is that the thing GW makes?
I think that's actually 3D printed. So,
no, right, those are the. I have those bases. They're the GW Into the Dark bases.
Are they?
Oh.
Yeah.
but the base itself, I think, is a 3D printed. I think somebody went online and kind of copied it and made a 3D printable version. I think. I don't.
This could be a cool one to be like using. You know how everyone is lining up, like you did on your board, how Aiden did on the space one, like where it lines up with the base.
Mm-hmm.
This could have been cool doing that. That might be a little harder, so I get why you might not do it, but that could have been cool too. Like really, really tighten it up.
Yeah. John, you've been quiet on this one. What do you think, my guy?
Oh no, it's good. I think the only issue is for all the murder, there's not much blood. I would have just like
You're not
some more
wrong.
blood.
Do they eat souls maybe so they don't?
No, it's warp magic, whatever it's called.
Right, that's what I used to
He
say.
killed them all with the burning fire thing, right?
I think
yeah.
blood elements could have been cool. I think you're right, John. I think
Shadow.
that'd have been a good move if they had some blood on there.
Maybe some of the corpses on that green fire. That could have been cool. You know,
Oh, okay, yeah, okay, that'd have been cool too.
some blood,
A little
For
more gore,
sure,
a little
some
more
blood.
gore. Yeah, you know.
Yeah, this one lends itself well to such a horror theme. I
Right.
wish we could talk to this creator to see what.
Right, Eric. Like if you're listening, or if someone who knows Eric, you know, great job. It's terrifying, and I love that. Maybe add a bit more gore, not too much, because then it becomes like
I like how grungy it is. It's so good.
it's nice, and it's colorful because you know they're very colorful.
Very.
I like
colorful.
it. Yeah.
If only he put stuff on his screens. I feel like the screens being blank is a missed opportunity.
I would agree.
Okay,
Yeah.
he could add that in the future. Okay, another good one, another good point.
So this one, oh yeah, this is. I think did I do a
Budget?
bad picture here? No, this is actually Kroot.
Oh yeah, the dogs.
This is Garrett Rayner. He is an amazing hobbyist. I think I started off with a really poor picture. I apologize. He won the Bay Area Championship 2023 with this display board for Best Painted. Absolutely phenomenal. The resin work here. There's no bubbles.
Right, little
Right.
snake shadow down
It's
there.
clear, so that means that he hand polished that, and he said that he actually started doing hobby track stuff because of our podcast.
Hell yeah!
And we had him on right after this. So if you guys want to find out more about this, it's an older episode from some of our early days, since we're on 111 now. It's almost like 2 years ago now. But we're going to probably get him on the next one. Like just the vegetation on this in person, like the vegetation is just phenomenal. This also gives a really clear story of when you're looking at stuff all the way up to the leader on the rock. Absolutely really good. I think that some of the models can be difficult to tell. You know, they have some Tau weaponry. I think they all have the correct weaponry from the Kroot, right? So that's the thing that really gives them away. And I think these are AOS. And there's
those
dogs
are
and-
cruel boys. Yeah.
When you start looking at it more, you can kind of know. What do you guys think?
You're taking the hobbits to Isengard.
Dang, that'd have been a cool one too.
No, I like the water effects. It's a very nice. Like, the story is really nice. I don't know. It's really weird. Cruel Boys, I kind of like love hate, so I don't know how I actually feel. It's just. No, it's like I appreciate the theme and stuff, but I do like the display board a lot. It's just, yeah, I don't know. It's for some reason the models make me feel off, and I don't know why. Like uneasy. I don't know. I can't explain. It's weird to me.
I get you with Cruel Boys. Like when they came out, I was like, "Are these orcs?" Like
Aren't they?
I don't really know what these are. Like I know they're orcs, but they don't feel like orcs.
The
to
Lord
me.
of the Rings orcs in 40K.
Right, but the Lord of the Ring orcs
Oh,
has
look at
their
the
own
bird.
style. Like this,
Look at the
you know,
bird. Sometimes I forget.
Squigging.
Squiggin.
Yeah. Yeah. And then his next one is going to be a video. We don't have actual pictures from his LVO one. I'm sure when we get him on, maybe for the next one or something,
We'll
we
ask
can
him to
discuss a little
bring a
bit
picture
more about
for it.
But this was it at LVO.
I remember this one.
Yeah, this is the thing. This has
And he
that hit
names
factor. It has Gork's Ravagers.
yeah, he tells you what it is, which
These
is
are
cool.
these are Felgor Ravagers. There, this one like judge's favorite at LVO, but I will say there was some things that made it so that he didn't win overall, in my opinion. For me, the models facing away from the judges, you know, you really got to paint those butts real good because that's what we're
Right.
looking
I got to
at.
be impressed by that ass. You
Yeah.
know?
And also the main villain is kind of the
star.
centerpiece.
Yeah.
And as cool as that is, the model should be
The star.
the star.
Yeah.
But this thing had such that cool factor that we could not award him something because it is that fucking cool. You know, like this is a really cool display board. I can't zoom in because it's not a picture.
I wish there was more angles because from the angles it's a little
His
fun
sand
to look at too.
is spot on. I don't know what he did for his sand. He might have just slapped on like an AK sand or Vallejo or something, but the sand is great.
You could have just used sand.
Could have.
I've seen it before. It's
Plenty of it out here.
The conversions and all of the Ravagers really looking like that of what from this is
Felgor.
probably what the Felgor Ravagers should have been. Instead of the goats, this is what they should have been.
Yeah, because this doesn't even get to show off like all the elements of making them almost accurate to what the other models are.
Yeah.
Which is one of the things I really love about it. You know, it's good. You have to take our word for it. That's all I can really tell you. And if you've already seen this when you were up north, like you already know how nice it is. But from putting it into competition, it's not facing the right way, and the star isn't the star it should be. But there's a lot of ones we like.
So next up,
do you want to say something about it, James?
Oh, sorry, James.
I'll say like for that one, like I remember it to this day how cool it was, and basically how he set it up, which is very easy. Like it's not coming from the scoop's mouth or the gun. I wish there was a side angle too. You can see more.
Right. Yeah.
So next up, we have a commission that I painted. So I won't go into this. How about you guys take it away, our guests?
It's too clean.
Very primary.
You got a muddy ground, but the guys are so clean. That's my biggest gripe.
It is very primary.
Is this
With me,
Vet Guards?
This is Cassicans.
Oh, Cassican.
I think there's too many tufts.
Rangers.
Instead, you may have want to have used what's that train? The hobby train stuff they have. Flock.
Block.
It would have been cooler to see like the rocks have flock and then be like hard rock on the bottom, like a moss
fair.
grew on top.
That's fair.
I think that would have been cooler than the tufts, right?
That's fair. Yeah.
But this is still like it's still nice. I like Spartans. I like Halo. So
Yeah.
naturally, I'm going to like it a little more.
The backside has some lights and stuff like that. Now, this person wanted Halo rain. What is that one? Reach. He wanted Reach, but I told him a lot of the Reach characters were going to be difficult for me to paint because they're all so desaturated.
Yeah.
So we went with red and blue, and then it just became a lot of primary colors from there.
I mean, Spartans, you could do that, right? It's just a team deathmatch,
It's true.
or just free for all.
This was one of the hardest models for me to paint because of the pink and the green
greens.
was difficult for me. As you can see, my Vet Guard got a lot of inspiration. My original painting, this
From
was
them.
the kind of original paint job
These
for them.
more ODST looking guys.
Correct.
Yeah. Yeah, I like it overall, but I think you could have benefited from flock instead of using tufts, which is something, and adding a little more elements to the warthog because it's like James said, it's so clean, and this is a prime example of, god dang, that's clean.
So the other thing from this client was that they like clean models.
They do like clean, yes, they
and
do.
it's difficult to. I mean, I have to paint to a specific standard too,
Right, exactly.
Rather than like adding any kind of dirt or smudge, like. Clean is key, and that's what it was. So that's what we had to paint to. But I actually really liked how the blue and the red came out on these. But I guess that's more of a paint job rather than anything else.
Right, because the display board itself is fine, and there was elements you could have taken into the next level. But no, we've discussed that.
Yeah.
What I think should have been done. What do you guys think could have been done to make this a little more lively?
Kind of what Giacomo, you said earlier, you have elevation, but there's no models on an elevation. So it seems
Right
like
on the top there. That's a good point. I didn't even think of that.
That is true. That is very true.
Oh yeah, I pretty much agree. Yeah, because it's kind of quite a bit of dead space to the right and the top.
That is fair.
The Warthog could have been parked there.
Hey, the Warthog looks fucking dope.
It does look dope. I know the client wants it clean because because we know them, so it would have been cooler if it could be a little dirtier.
I would agree.
Maybe a couple of Power Rangers on the top right.
Yeah,
I wish I could have put some
have
Power Rangers up
Cortana
there.
or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Hey, look, there's Jonathan's goats in the background.
Yeah. We get to those in a second. This one is, let's see here. Who made this?
Is that
board
in
again?
India M? Is that what it says on the name?
Oh, James is coming. Yeah, India M made these. I think this is a pretty cool display board. Firstly, our
It's
pictures fit
unique.
up there. It's very unique. It's not square.
It has its own shape. It's its own.
Looks like a lot of core players.
I like it though. I dig it.
And the bases in this one actually fit because of those extra elements. You know,
Oh yeah, because of the layering he does.
they all kind of like stack in there.
You're right. I didn't even think about it.
How do you use that perfect black background? Like, how do you even do that? Is it like video?
He's got to have a backdrop
Backdrop and Photoshop.
and lights, backdrops
so
and
dark.
lights, and he's taking it probably in a raw format, and then he's adding color later.
Yeah.
And it looks great.
Mhm.
Again, thank you for taking those photos because these
thank
look
you, sir.
awesome.
These are dope.
If you're a photographer out and you're also in this area and you want to do that, you should do it too because the world needs more high quality pictures of stuff people painted.
We wouldn't be able to do any of these things if we didn't have
Right, like somebody doing it, so like
Zach or
shout out.
people taking nice pictures.
One thing though, I feel like this isn't necessarily supposed to be a diorama or trying to tell anything. It's more of a place to put your models because it matches with the bases. Because a lot of them are sort of like kind of jammed together. So it's a little hard to see. Like that dude's like he's the Arquebus, whatever rifle it's called. He's really in the back. You could tell by how like
Back here?
so he's just putting models there as opposed to trying to show them off, and everyone's sort of huddled together. Like I like the two guys in the left and right. They're clearly standouts. Right?
This is the quintessential perfect display board for something like small that you like.
Right. I'm not going to be
transportable.
It's good enough.
Looks good. Not too much detail. The models are very much the center point. Stop that at all.
Yeah.
It also gives you a lot of hobby track points for not too much time and effort.
That's
Absolutely.
true. There you go. If you want
There's a lot of
to game
boxes.
the system.
Yeah. So next up, we start with
Oh,
James. So
this is one of the first
John,
ones.
we're going to have you rip apart James because we can't.
Rip and tear until it's done.
Step one, get a better camera.
I mean, hey. Now, what's interesting was this was James's very first display board he ever brought to us at Kill Team. He even brought this to our very first event ever. 5 people. This dude shows up with this.
Right.
Giacomo was the only other one with a Kill Team display board, which he didn't submit.
I did not
No,
because
this-
I was running the tournament. I think that'd be unfair.
yeah.
Yeah, so this is the early years of Kill Team. What do you think, John?
No, I like it. It ties into the Death Guard theme. Like you got a brave one walking the plank. It's a nice use of the Octarius plank. Someone found a good use for it. Instead of trying to make it playable. And yeah, it's nice use of it's the Zone Mortalis terrain with I believe that's the old pump from the 9th edition terrain set.
Yep.
Wow. Yeah, you guys know your stuff. I like the use of the resin for the lake. This is one of the first times I saw it.
Oh, I thought it was a pit.
Scale.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, no, I wish we could get a top-down shot from it because there's like little elements of garbage and stuff in there too, which and that impressed me when I first saw it. I thought it was really, really fun.
Yeah. Cool thing. I think this is from Arena. This
is that?
little pipe.
I didn't get to play Arena very
And
much.
so is this. But
Those are random Necromunda bits have been sitting around my house. All the pipes from this Necromunda.
You guys do like Necromunda.
the one thing I will say, the reason why we didn't give this like top marks at that event is that the curtains do not match the drapes,
Some of the bases.
the carpet, whatever it is. The bases don't fully match. They're very much just muddy
So we
and stuff
said
like
the
that.
beard doesn't match the bases because the literation's
beard?
cool.
The what?
The beard doesn't match the bases.
Yeah.
From top to bottom kind of thing.
That was like my only detriment to this one when we first saw it. Outside of that, absolutely fantastic.
That's me a statement for myself. None of mine match at all.
That's a statement. And that's something we know. Except one.
Yeah.
Yes, we know which one.
So this one was actually one of my favorites. This was James's LVO 2023 entry. And because of this, we actually...
Was it 2023 or 2022?
2023.
2023. Okay.
I attended 2022. We
That's
ran
right.
23
That's
and
right.
24.
That's right.
This one right here inspired us so much, and we felt so bad about not having best display as or best, like there's like, this made me make more trophies for future events. This was so good that I felt like shit not giving out more awards because of the amount of effort that went into this Gellert box team.
Because I'll say this, like, it's an awesome board. It can be a little hard to see some of the elements of the models, right? But like you mentioned, we looked at it and we're like, it's hard to not want to give him something, though, because there was a lot of effort put into the board itself.
This is one of my favorite kill team displays of all time.
Right.
Because it has giant openings. It is just an amazing looking piece. It has great pieces. The
grunginess is awesome. I like the warm to cool tones going on the top. I don't know if you noticed that.
Yeah, if you had more, I can't see it.
Oh,
to be honest, it just looks beige. The bases here, if there was a little bit more grungy and they fit better, it would be cooler. But you know, it is what it is. John, what do you think?
No, yeah, I agree pretty much. It's just the bases kind of throw it off for me, but otherwise I like the feel of it. Yeah, because got the Nurgle tree bursting out of the Munitorium container. So it was really cool. Oh, that's not flock, is it? It's just green Nurgle sludge, I guess.
Yep, that's a lot of green putty, and then basically the eyeballs are just little like mixing balls for paint cans.
Nice.
It was a lot of work, and I think he does a great job for it. You know, James, you did it. Shout out to you, man. You know,
are these resin or are these resin printed or are these actual GW kits?
It's the columns are plastic, the pillars are resin, so it's a mix of both. As I said, I got a lot of Necromunda terrain kicking around.
Yeah, man, a lot of elements that worked out, and you know, thank you for inspiring us to create a whole set of just diorama winnings, like or just creating the board itself, because that is its own achievement of difficulty. You know, so like, I'll give you that.
So this is a video of your 2024 entry, LVO, earlier this year. Absolutely stunning.
Right? Like that's so much effort. And wait till you get to see the inside. Do we have a picture of the inside?
We do.
We do. There we go.
So there's a couple other videos here. The only thing is we couldn't see the team.
That was one of the hard parts, was like being able to see
Otherwise,
the team
you would have ran away with the entire competition, which is thankful that you didn't.
You know what, James? If you decided in the future to add hinges somewhere, so that it can open and you could show it off that way, that'd be like that's another level of something, you know.
But that's what I just knock down more of the wall. That's what I should have done.
That too, yeah. If you force that too, because like that's what I kept telling Dakota. Is like I wish I could see the inside easier though. So like I'm really like whoa, because otherwise it just might be a building that's hiding guys, and I'm not aware of it. You know.
This is one of the this has the it factor in my opinion. This is a really cool display board. But like I said, I just couldn't see the team in order to judge it very well. It was, and I think that's something that like some people just fall into a trap for, right? Like James, you're an amazing artist in general, and this was one of the ones that
you had LEDs in this too, right?
Yeah, all back here.
Yeah, right, and it's subtle use of it, like like
some of the shots though, like when you get down and you look in it, it was just absolutely gorgeous.
Right, there's so many elements that had to be painted with this thing. It's just like I really wish I could open it up, right, to see everything. Like this one at the altar is fucking dope, right? Yeah,
super cool.
This lends itself to be photographed a lot.
Now, John, this was one of your major competitions at the event. What do you think of this?
No, it looks great. I love all the story. Like it all ties in together. Like it's just really cool because you got like just basically the demonic congregation, and it just looks great.
Yeah, James did a great job. Now, moving on to his next one, we have, because he submitted, he's done a lot of display boards.
He's done a lot of display boards.
There's a reason why this man is so high up in Hobby Track every year. Because sometimes when you submit the same team and the same display board over and over and over, we've seen it. You know, it's like,
still
okay,
impressive,
cool.
But,
you might get the same score, might get a little less.
Yeah, exactly. You got to spruce it up.
This guy, he's like, I don't have a job, which he does. I just hobby all day, which he doesn't. But it sure makes it seem like it.
Yeah, you're having fun with this one. I like the blood eyes and stuff for this model. That's the corn thing, right?
Yeah, so this is one of the boards, which we'll see for the All Valley Team Tournament.
Nice.
I think you crafted all 3 boards, which actually the next board, a part of that, is my favorite part.
Oh, is that the Hearthstone?
How did you make this part here?
I took basically acrylic rod, rammed it up the butt of the stone, and then spent about an hour dripping drop by drop UV resin until it was a proper thickness.
Jesus.
Cool. Super cool. And this is the other side of that display board. And then you guys are fighting against the ship, which I actually found old photos from the All Valley Team Tournament last year. As you can see, the explosion here. You can see Jonathan's
those are the Ravagers.
goats, and the corn berserkers on the other side. And then you have the ship over here, which you also made for Wyatt. And you had the line that goes from display board to display board, and you have the Death Cult Assassin flying in midair to fight all of the Chaos Demons and goats. Pretty sure they got annihilated, but that's besides the point. Actually, maybe they couldn't get to him because they're all melee models, so they could just win by shooting from the other side.
I still had a wing back then. It was fine.
Yeah. Absolutely brilliant job on this display board. All 3 display boards, bringing them together. And that's the cool thing about team events, which John, you were at WTC. Did you see teams of 5 bring 5 different display boards that all cohesively tell the story, or is it just individuals?
Oh no, I wasn't at WTC.
Oh, that's right. You're at Warhammer Worlds. I keep thinking you went.
Because it's in Europe, therefore he's in Europe, so therefore he must have.
All Europeans do all European
that's all
things
they
together.
did. That and play soccer.
Fucking Americans.
Sorry, football.
Yeah. Sorry. I guess we'll have to ask next week's podcast. But another great job here by James. And then his final entry.
Oh my god.
This is a fun one. The floating element is cool.
You've
right?
never seen this one, John. What do you think about this, my guy? This is, better camera, but
like,
there's nothing under here.
The Death March. It's great.
Yeah. Super cool idea. An actual floating display for your James is a hobby monster here. What made you come up with this design or this idea?
So the team's a Blaster Fortress team. He's like, you know what? I'm going to make an elevator like you're going into the Blaster Fortress, and your bases are hex bases. The stand's a hex stand, and the thing is all hex, so it matched really well.
Nice. Super cool. This display is out of this world when you see it in person too. Like, who has a floating display board, guys?
I think it works too because they're Star Striders, so of course they're going to be floating, right? They're in the sky, they're in space. It's a wonderful little subtle thing that that's cool.
Yeah. Notice how there's no LEDs on this one, so he's not a psych.
Didn't need it.
Yeah,
Didn't need it.
Yeah.
Though he could have inserted the battery in the back there and then ran the cables.
The magnet plus battery would not go well together.
You're right.
You're right.
That is a pretty strong magnet to have to do that.
Yeah.
That's right.
So, my bad.
Oh, this was one of the fun ones. Yeah.
So we have Jonathan Marquis up next. He had some Gellerpox infected here. And
the Geller juice.
Geller juice. Amazing. This has that cool factor.
Right. People were walking up and going like, what the hell? I'm looking at this thing.
Wait till you see the back of it. Jonathan, what do you think about this?
Oh no, I love it. It's like, I love the theme. It's very fun.
Yeah.
It's so good.
I wish we had more close-ups.
Yeah.
Because the models themselves
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So like it's very Tim Burton-y, and I think he does a good job. He used actual turf, right? And he just hardened it and stuff.
Yeah, and
for the grass, which I thought was a fun element. It's gross in a cool way, and it feels very Beetlejuice.
It has some green elements on the buildings itself.
Right, for the lights.
Yeah, and then the back, he has a giant free hand of Volgar thrice cursed, Gellerpaws.
As Beetlejuice.
As Beetlejuice. Love it. Absolutely gorgeous job. I remember he showed this off at SoCal Open, and I think he won Best Display.
I think he won Best Display that year, yeah.
Absolutely great job here.
The snake too from the movie, like at the top there, like great job.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely great.
He comes up with a lot of ideas. He Jonathan Marquis is an idea man. I'll give him that. Like he's fun.
So up next we have. Oh gosh, I don't. Oh, let's not do that one. Whoopsie. So we have. That was Candy Roller Crits channel. You guys should subscribe. Jay Spake, which I think his name is Jeremy. But don't quote me. He has 2 photos here, and I think one is with helmets and one is without helmets.
Oh, that's different teams. That's Intercession. That's
Phobos.
That's Phobos. Yeah,
That's cool.
that's cool use of getting a lot out of one display board forever, so you can bring
Talk
it each
about
time.
a backdrop from the Emperor.
That's
man.
great backdrop.
That's a good
That
backdrop.
is
Just
sick.
every time you see it,
And
But
he
those
has,
Marines are going to be stanky.
you're not wrong.
Stay.
And he has perfect inset bases here too. This is a excellent submission. Oops.
I like the one guy with the claws is blue, so it helps him stand out as the leader. I'm assuming that's one of the
And it's
leaders.
Ravenclaw, so they all have the emo haircuts.
They got the emo haircuts, which I love.
Absolutely.
This is good. The only thing is, I think some of the colors blend in a bit too much, but that doesn't take away from the overall enjoyment. What was that, James?
Raven Guard are supposed to be sneaky and blended.
Yeah.
Good point. Good point.
Yeah.
So
next up we have, this is such an amazing piece. There's literally no flaws for me.
it's good. I like it. It's fun to look
simple. It's 2 different teams, which is
Now, I won't say this is the team I'm going to run and have everyone look at on a board, but it's really well done.
Hopefully it has a nameplate. If it doesn't have a nameplate,
it can
it
get
should.
a name. Yeah.
So this one is Justin. I think his name is Kadukes on Discord. And just wait till you guys see this. This one is spectacular.
Pop. Notice the cartoon cell shading the whole way. It never stops.
Intercession
As Teenage Mutant
Ninja Turtles.
I would have liked to see more Casey Jones in here. And what was her name? I can't remember her name right now.
April O'Neil.
Yeah, April.
Thank you, April. Yeah, I would have liked to see that instead. But I think it still works, and I like it's so small, but it gets the point across really well done.
It really does.
I thought it was cool.
What do you guys think?
I like the Borderlands style art for the carrying case.
Yeah, the cell shade.
This also has that memorable it factor.
You remember this, yeah? You're remember the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle ones?
Hell yeah.
Obviously, he can go more in depth and make a bigger board in the future if he really wanted to. Because there's more iconic parts of the Ninja Turtles. You could have done you could have had their weapons on their backs or on the sides too, even though they're obviously having other weapons. But it's just it's a fun thing to throw in there. I would have liked to see a hockey stick too.
Oh my
would have been
God.
funny.
Yeah.
Pizza somewhere would have been cool.
Leonardo's my favorite. I wish he had a sword.
That would have been cool, right? Just having the swords on his back. He never uses them, but he's an intercessor, but it's still cool.
This is super cool. It definitely has that it factor. It has the cell shading.
Because everyone was looking at this too.
It's super cool. Absolutely phenomenal job. Yeah. So next up, we have the winner from LVO, Justin Marcus. The reason why he won, in our opinion, is that he definitely had the it factor. He had a great display, and the models were painted. He was just best in show, best overall.
Right, which is what it takes to win that award.
So we had a couple videos from it as well. You guys can see it here. Great little extra pieces, These videos are taken from Tabletop Mayhem. And this is some of the pictures he sent afterwards. This was, this are the badge that we gave out for LVO. So the winning team, a couple other great photos. There's not much I can say is wrong with this.
Right. I mean, of course, he could have added a few more elements, but that's why he won the best overall, as opposed to winning the best display, right? Because he has a good display. A lot of elements are really there, and the paint job's really well done. The colors are nice on the board. It's good. I like it.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you guys think? Anything that you guys can, maybe if you had inset bases?
Inside
Yeah.
bases would help for sure. Like to really drag in the elements.
This is one of the few times that I don't think it was like that big of a detriment, but
Because it's still good.
Yeah.
Still good. And it's simple. You know?
So this is James Loomis next. I think this is what I was told. I don't know if he did. If I got it wrong. This is interesting because you don't see a lot of live bases.
Yeah.
This is what I would call a live base. Like the actual
Are none of those things
rocks. I don't think so.
Oh.
I think the actual rocks here are not glued. I think they're just.
You can see one on the guy's base where it's kind of got
Yeah,
shoved in.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
What on earth?
I mean, it definitely gets you looking.
It gets you looking. I like it. I think it's interesting. Fish rock? Is that what these are?
I think that's aquarium rock. Yeah.
Aquarium rock? Yeah, you don't see it very often. It looks pretty cool. Maybe it's supposed to be water? I'm not sure.
Or those purple orcs right there in front?
Yep, purple orcs right here. Totally colorblind. If you can't see them, it's because you're color deficient like me. Also pretty interesting. I think the composition's really... I'd say that it's difficult to see.
Yeah, it's
because of the
hard.
yellow.
It's hard to tell, but like this is something you look at and go, "What the hell?" And you like John just did, and you kind of stare at this for a little bit
Yeah.
to try to get anything out of it, which is cool in its own way.
Mm-hmm.
My only gripe is like,
Sorry?
doesn't really tell a story. Like, why is it orc and they're not orcs?
Right. Like what's going on? You know.
It looks cool. I don't know if there's a story. That's for sure. I think up next we have Mike. Oh, it's interesting. They put the first picture that I wanted last. So this is Mike. He won Dallas Open. Absolutely stunning piece. I think I told him in person.
That's good.
This is the recover item. So his kill team is recovering item.
Right, retrieving. That's what Pathfinders might do as well, right?
I dislike that the team was facing away from the people, but outside of that, there's not really any flaws. This is the I think the team is from the Farside Enclave, and it's their stealth division, which is really interesting as well.
Yeah,
Not as good as my Farsight Enclaves because I killed them all at Nova 2 years ago. Melee.
Yeah, you did. You killed them in melee, which was a hilarious game, I heard.
This is a really good example of something also really simple. Like you just had to put the one body in. Like, okay, I know what the story is. They're retrieving this. That's the mission.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
I like the use of the Forge World commander. I think that was Shazza Ramir, but he doesn't exist anymore.
Well, of course,
That's why
he's
he's
dead.
dead.
Well, we did not.
And as we can see, there's no melee operative, so maybe Mike did not learn his lesson against you.
And it's taking 2 Pathfinder operative to see if he's actually alive.
I like you guys noticed that the one drone is coming out right in the front, right there,
Right here, yeah. This is a really cool element as well. It's black, so you're supposed to read it as
right.
not
It's like
there.
it's not really there.
It's flying. It's pretty cool.
I wish there was like one thing for me. It blends in a little too much, and there's not a definite like direction. Not direction in the sense of the art direction, but like where am I supposed to look? Like what angle and stuff am I supposed to look at this?
Yeah, you're definitely looking at a lot of stuff here.
Right, because it just feels like there's a lot. And that could have worked if you just told me, look at this direction only, right? And then you see the body and stuff like that makes sense, right? Because from the top, I'm like, there's what's going on there, too.
Can we talk about how cool these trophies are?
There's some big-ass trophies.
They're pretty cool.
God damn.
Yeah,
Big
they're
metal.
some pretty nice trophies now, yeah.
Yeah, they do.
You
They do.
wanna
They
show
saw
us yours?
my trophies, and then they're like, "Yo, we gotta level up." But which
But I
they
like
did.
it still.
Yeah. This is a really cool kill team. I thought he did a great job. He definitely deserved best overall there. This is Rob, Hobby Highlander. If
Hell
anyone
yeah.
doesn't know, Rob, the Hobby Highlander, right? He's a pretty cool dude. And his hobby is pretty strong. What's interesting about this team is they are the old scouts, the metal scouts from the 90s. And in order for them to be the right height and size, he had to take a bunch of clear acrylic ice and stack them a quarter inch taller because that's how much
That's how the
scale creep has
right,
happened.
it's
Right?
happened.
And it's objectively worse because now if you just see part of this base part of the model. But pretty cool. It definitely to me tells a story. I love that there's
I like
a
the
predator in the
Razorback
back.
is just there. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think he could have used a little more placing his models like up since he has some elevation or have a little angle. And this one I always admired just because I thought it was fun. Like it's a cool throwback.
To me as well, I think the snow is so difficult. It's really difficult. But I like how the snow is almost like the snow from the 1980s or 1990s, you know, the old snow.
The way they used to do it.
I definitely
Just like the Scouts.
just
Exactly.
like
So
the
it's like it
Scouts.
fits. It's fun. I think the picture itself could have blended better if someone put it on the black background.
Yeah.
Because it's like then everything is sort of blending in from a color perspective of just looking at the image. But I don't know. I think it's fun.
I think if these were inset and then you would pull them out, you know, would also be
Oh,
cool.
they're
Maybe
really
like
dug
they're
in there.
in a sheet of ice, you know, would have been cool.
That could have been cool too. Like
Yeah.
Rob, you're
But
a
he
fun
doesn't have a
player to
laser
play
cutter,
against.
like-
Yeah, it's like it's not over the top, but I enjoy it enough that I like the elements of it.
We're getting close to the end here. Do you guys have anything else here? I think we have a couple entries from Sheldon, which is he's a hobby maniac himself. This is Shay. She did some great stuff at LVO. We're getting to 2 hours here, so we're going to speed up through some of these last things. So
Okay.
so John Reese can go to sleep. You know, I'm cognizant of his time. Shay did a great job at LVO. Great, cool kill team display. The picture
The
itself
little
is
candles are fun.
yeah. This is Sheldon. Sheldon had this was their bats.
AVTT the first time, right?
This is their second one, I believe.
Second one.
Oh, it could be the first
The
one.
first one. I wasn't able to make the second one.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is the first one.
This was the first one?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they had a really cool thing where they kind of had a three-way bash where they had like I think it was Intercession and Phobos versus
Blooded.
Yeah. And it was interesting. I would say that this kill team is really, really busy. But the thing that made it win the best overall this year was, firstly, they were all together, right?
Yeah,
Like all
it
the
was
kill
cohesive.
teams came together. But also this view. It has a very clear, like, I want you to look through this hole, right? And you could look at it through other ways. But when you look at it through this angle, this picture was fucking sweet. You have the old Inquisitor Eisenhorn model, the 40 mil. A lot of cool pieces. This one, I actually made this and sent it to him, a part of the old display board that we have up here behind me.
I think if this was going to be the perspective they chose,
Mm-hmm.
something should have been the center point of this, not just the skull.
I can see that.
Right, because it's like, well, if that's what I'm supposed to be looking at, where's the main dudes fighting, right?
Yeah, this is very Sheldon. Sheldon really likes busy boards that make you really feel like you're living, you know?
Right, that is his style. I'll give you
Sometimes it detracts from the overall, you know, but it is very, very cool nonetheless. And if you guys want to say some stuff, feel free to chip
Say it
in. 'Cause
now,
we're gonna speed run through the
Yep.
through the
No,
end
it looks great. Sheldon's display boards are impressive.
here. Yeah.
Multi-team
Kill-
boards that come together are great.
Speaking of Sheldon, I think he's planning on launching a Kill Team stream again and playing Space Marine 2. So when it releases, he's going to be going on Twitch playing a lot of games. So if you guys want to check him out, Kill Team stream, he's a great guy. This is, I think, one of his display boards overall. It has a cool drop pod and
That's a Corvus
plane in
Black
it.
Star, yeah.
Gosh, it's so cool. This is one of his other big
This one
display boards.
I enjoy more because I think the elements are a little more fun to look at as opposed to the previous ones.
Mm-hmm.
Again, he is a busy man. That's like his thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because there is a lot here, but
There
the
is.
main thing that keeps me together is the middle guy and then the thing behind him.
Yeah,
The,
this is
when they're using the Star God.
Yeah,
One
so
of the fragments.
I think his Necron lore, I forget which faction it is, but they captured and killed their Citan,
Right.
and they use him for power and stuff. I
Right,
believe.
which is perfect because that element is like that can keep me away from the rest of the stuff.
Mhm.
So it looks cooler, but it is hard to kind of look at the rest of the team.
has a very good force perspective.
For
that
here,
we're
yeah,
looking
I'm
at.
forced to look at that, which is fine, which works.
Yeah. And then we have, this was the one that Sheldon dropped off at LVO.
This one I like a lot more simply just because the backdrop there too. It adds.
It has a backdrop.
Yeah. The name part's a little hard, but otherwise I think this looks really cool with the backdrop adding to it. Because what is this? Not Inquisitors, this is Star Striders, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
There's a dog right there.
Inquisition.
It might be.
You're right. That is Inquisition.
I do like the teapot.
The teapot? Where? Where's the
Oh,
teapot?
if you zoom out.
Oh,
Yeah.
right here. Yeah.
Of course, the Brit knows that.
How Brit of you?
Yeah, I'd say the one thing that detracts from it is I'd want to see this
Blended
into the board, rather than just on top. Pretty cool. Very good
That's
job.
from Battle
from
from the
Sheldon.
Garage. I used to own that
Sheldon,
set.
yeah, that's an old.
That's an old one, man.
Sheldon is just an epic hobbyist. He just crushes the hobby and always brings something that you're going to want to look. You always want to look at his stuff, which is cool. And we have his hobby display board. This is the hobby table that we told you about. This is 4 Kill Team display boards put together, which is a full Kill Team board. But I think this is his whole entire Kill Inquisition team. So this is every faction. Notice how Alexander Popov shoved all of his models onto one board. Sheldon really put it out. Now, this would be an illegal display board.
Right, because it's too big. It's a little hard to look at, but that might just be the image. Like the picture was really bright.
Mm-hmm. Really cool, though. And you can see...
I like the elements. It feels very big, grandiose, like Warhammer does.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I like about Sheldon. He does the grandiose Warhammer style stuff. Like in the codex, like it would be these giant shots.
Absolutely.
I'll give him that. He does that. He does that a lot, and that's what he likes.
And I think that's where we come to the end.
Wow, we made it.
Yeah, with Sheldon.
Thank you, everybody who did submit stuff.
Thank you, everyone, for sticking around.
You guys put a lot of hobby hours in there.
Yeah. I think that this is a really interesting way to look at different display boards all over the world, too, especially mostly United States.
Yeah.
And hopefully you guys grab some inspiration and grab some learning. Is there anything that you guys took away, John and James, from this conversation, or any other display boards that kind of inspired you to think about something in the future?
To crush the tokens.
Backdrops. Definitely need backdrops. And so much for so little extra.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll probably try and add water effects.
Okay.
Join somebody to
water.
Backdrop water. Hey, yeah, you could paint it,
Yeah.
That's freehand if you paint it.
Yeah, I know we went long here, everyone, but I want to thank you, Kenny Roller Crit. I know it's is it 1 a.m. your time? 1:30?
It's okay.
Okay.
He's going to stay and play some Kill Team.
Yeah, and then James was out watching meteor showers.
Keeping me happy.
Hell yeah. And your golden ticket, right? You still riding the high?
Oh, yeah,
So
my
far.
one of two. Technically my
One
fourth
of
ticket.
two. 4th ticket. This man is a beast.
He is a beast. I got one. Now I got to get this guy one.
No, I'm my competition is in the boards. I don't compete on the tabletop.
That's fair. Is there anything that you guys want to shout out before we end here, outside of obviously subscribe to John Reese's channel?
Thank you.
We got a shout out to Alex Popov. It's the tradition.
Yep,
That's true. That is true.
we did miss one on one episode.
That's one way out.
Shout outs to getting DQ'd at WTC. I mean, shout outs to Team America.
Whoa.
They did really well this
Team
weekend.
America.
Oh,
They
great.
did. Yeah, Team America
was
did
the
do
best.
great.
Some people
They
even
did,
got
yeah.
upset. I was supporting Team America. It's great.
Yeah, that was sportsmanship, everyone. Remember to always have sportsmanship in competition.
Yes,
You know?
be courteous to your opponent,
Mhm.
even if they might come off a little strong. You don't know what they've gone through that day to get where they are right now.
That's true.
Empathy.
True. Yeah. Got anything else, John?
Just insane drama that I will keep private.
That's fair. That's fair. How about you, G?
Well, yeah, of course. You know where you can find us. We're on the Squad Games Discord. You can join the conversation there, or in the comments section of this podcast if you're watching it on YouTube. And of course, you can check out our channel, watch other things there, like the Hobby Highlander. The Meta Watch is coming pretty soon, so that's fun. I'm looking forward to that. You're looking forward to doing it because you like stats. You can find
So
us on
does John
Instagram.
Reese. He has a great stat show.
He does have a great stat show, and you can find us on Instagram at Squad Games Entertainment. Just look us up there. You can find me at wargaming_studios, where I slowly work on different models. And how about you? What do you got?
Check out our hobby Highlander. So that's always fun. And also check out lustersworkshop.com if you guys want to get any of those little tokens.
Yes.
Again, help me go to Nova, right? Or make it easier for me and my family. But outside of that, just hobby Highlander, that's the great show that we love producing.
It's very fun.
And getting out there. So
AVTT, 3 people, 3 golden tickets.
Yeah, AVTT, make sure you come and support third-party events because Games Workshop's going to be there no matter what. So if there's a third-party event near you, make sure you go to that. So,
Yes.
And also, shout out to everyone who makes display boards and does hobby without us seeing it. If you want us to, show it off next time as we have more guests on talking about hobbies, when we do our next hobby rundown, check it out there. We'll check them out.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Until next time, everyone.
Yeah.
The Squad Games podcast is a production of Squad Games Entertainment. For more information on Squad Games, please visit our website at lustersworkshop.com/squad-games.